How's it going, folks? Welcome to another fun at-home table read. Tonight we are tackling a very, very odd unmade script, Preacher, which was made into a TV show, but I've always been curious to see what the movie was going to be. We have our cast hanging out right here, so we're gonna just get ourselves started. So let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm reading all the words and stuff.
I'm Logan. I'm going to be Jesse Custer.
Hi, I'm Anne. I will be Tulip O'Hare.
Hi, I'm Travis. I'll be playing Cassidy.
I'm Angi, and I am the Saint of Killers.
All right. Well, Jen, take us away.
I should unmute myself to do this. Anyway, Preacher by Garth Ennis. We're doing great. It's an undated draft. Interior bar night. Cassidy sits at the bar with a glass of beer, packet of Camels in front of him beside his change, one lit in his hand. Bar noises behind him, jukebox music, conversation, occasional glimpses of people passing behind him. Excuse me. We're starting this way. Smoky atmosphere. We stay on him as he knocks back the beer, sets down the empty glass, and smiles wryly.
Pissed and not enough of it.
The barman picks up the glass. Cassidy draws on his cigarette and sits back. He'll now tell us the story as if we were sitting at the bar beside him. So he won't always be looking right at us.
So where was I? The preacher. Well, before I got stuck into this, you'd better get it straight that this no ordinary story. Ordinary story is boy meets girl, boy gets girl, up the stick, father forbids boy to see girl, but true love wins through. Audience pukes its ring, the end, or maybe bad guys kill helpless innocents. Head bad guy with English accent prepares to take over the world. Arnie Schwarzenegger kills everybody in sight. Girl shows up her tits. Everything blows up. The end.
Yup. The barman sits down, a fresh beer, and Cassidy is pleased.
But this one's different. Just about as different as you can fucking get. To tell the truth, Jesus, I was smack in the middle of it. And even I don't even half the fucking things that went on. There was angels, demons, rednecks, gunslingers from beyond the grave. Fucking vampires, would you believe? But there was a boy with a face that looked like your arsehole. And a woman who was braver than any man I ever met. And a man who stood tall in front of heaven itself and faced down the power of God.
He sips his beer, looks thoughtful, and smiles a bit.
You wouldn't know to look at him, but I'm 97 years old. I have a young face. But I thought I'd seen it all, but you won't have to see too much of this one before you realize what I did. That absolutely fucking anything can happen anytime, but there aren't any rules to this. That you're entering the 100% bug-fuck maniac Jeffrey Dahmer running down Broadway with John Wayne Bobbitt's dick in a bucket of napalm zone, and any attempt to understand is going to make your arse turn inside out. It's a love story. It's a horror story. It's a violent story.
It's Jeffrey Dahmer, by the way. But yes, come
Yeah.
on, Rant. He thinks for a moment, trying to find the words. Then he relaxes.
It started in church. Ooh.
Yeah, a lot of weird things happen in church. Exterior anvil night, starting out from in the Texas desert. We move slowly in towards the few lights of Anvil. Getting closer, we realize we're in Hicksville, the ass end of nowhere. Main street with just a few smaller ones off of it. We move past a bar, just some low light, not much noise. Looking down a side street, we see two drunks supporting each other for the stagger home. Yes! Further on, a quick look down an alley reveals movement, the sound of breaking glass. A sheriff's department cruiser passes us, going in the opposite direction. Moving across the town square, we see another drunk passed out on a bench but I was over on the bench, with a vile-looking dog Raping his innocent, unconscious leg. Oh my god. Okay. We move slowly towards the church. Weird shit happens near churches. A simple wooden building just outside town, on the opposite side to where we came in. A light is on within, and as we get closer, we hear raised voices, a man's and a woman's. Interior church night. The church is an old building, as simple within as without. Just rows of pews facing a lectern on a raised platform, large black cross on the wall. The Reverend Jesse Custer stands in front of the platform, uncomfortable. Facing him is Tulip O'Hare, angry and amazed.
You're a preacher, a fucking preacher. Jesse, I can't fucking believe this. It took me so long to find you. And I knew you had to be mixed up in something crazy, but
Tulip, I know this has got to be kind of upsetting.
yes, I'd say it's pretty fucking kind of upsetting. You walked out on me without a word of warning. You leave me high and dry in Phoenix with $27 to my name. And now, after 3 years of searching the length and breadth of Texas, I find you. And what are you doing? You're worshiping fucking God.
Oh, no, don't say his name like that.
Oh, excuse me. I'm just a little bit, I'm not British. I'm just a little bit pissed at the moment. I'll say his name any way I want. I mean, what the fuck is going on here? I lost a southern accent. I apologize. I expected to find you running hash over the border or running down a goddamn strip joint or that you just gone back to the good old GTA. I expected to find you, banging that skinny slut from Waco. What's her name? But instead, you're a preacher, honest to fuck man of God, and the only thing you're banging is the Bible. What in the name of fuck is that all about?
Honey.
And another thing, just exactly how does an ex-car thief qualify for fucking ministry anyhow? I mean, there's no way you're telling me the church has started embracing the kind of shit that we used to get up to.
Wasn't all that bad.
It wasn't? Christ, Jesse, there are people from New Orleans to San Diego still wondering what happened to their fucking Ferraris. The Jesse Custer I remember could hotwire the space shuttle blindfolded, used to put bourbon in his coffee because sugar's for suckers, and liked to fuck all day and night till the sun came up. Now, I don't recall learning too much of that kind of thing in Sunday school, but if that's what Christians are into these days, then please tell me, where do I sign up?
Yup. They look at each other for a moment, Jesse unsure of what to do, and Tulip is exasperated. Then she calms a little.
Just tell me why.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
I mean, I can't tell you why I left, became a preacher. I made a promise to someone, real important to me. I had to do right by him.
What about me? My cat just said hello. But what about me, Jesse? Didn't you care about doing right by me?
Oh, Jesus, honey, of course I did. I thought you'd get over it, find someone else.
You were my dream, Jesse. How did you think I was going to get over you? All the time we spent running cars into Vegas or Austin or San Antonio, and I used to look at you and say, he's really mine. You used to look at me and say you'd love me until the end of the world.
I know. But it can't ever be that way again.
Why not?
I told you, I made a promise. I never went back on my word to anyone, and if I was to start doing it now, I figured I wouldn't be worth it. Good goddamn.
She stares at him, quietly stunned. He looks back at her, sad but determined. There it is. She puts a hand to her face. Jesse reaches out to her, concerned.
Get off me, goddammit. Do you have any idea how much you fucking hurt me?
Guess not.
Fuck you. You and your fucking macho bullshit. You threw everything we had down the toilet for some fucking promise to do a job you know is bullshit? Well, the hell with you, Jesse Custer. You make such a big deal about how you never lie or go back on your word, and no, you never did. except to me.
Tulip is exactly what I ever wanted to say when I break up with anybody. Anyway, just that's a fact. She turns and stomps out, furious, almost tearful. The miserable Jessie can only stand and watch her go. The back door slams behind her and Jessie is left alone. He slumps back into a pew as low as he can go, upset and a little angry.
Shit.
He turns towards the lectern. Below the open Bible on top of it is a little shelf hidden from view of the congregation. On it are nearly full bottles. It is a nearly full bottle of Jack Daniels, a silver Zippo, and several packets of Marlboros. Interior church night. Jessie sits alone, smoking a Marlboro, taking a long, slow pull on the bourbon. Drink that Jack. Yeah. He's taken his jacket off, loosened his collar. About a dozen cigarette butts lie stubbed out on the pew beside him. He has a surly look about him, pissed off at the world in general and the shitty hand dealt to him by fate. He stares resentfully up at the big black cross behind the lectern. He's turned all the lights out except for a little one on the lectern that illuminates the Bible. Lots of shadows. He raises the bottle again and swigs it. Only half full now. Jessie drinks bourbon the way normal people drink water. Get him. Interior bar night. Flashback. A slightly younger Jessie, wearing a black t-shirt and jeans, strides confidently through a crowded bar with a pretty, if skinny, dark-haired girl on his arm. The place is jumpin', dark and smoky. A rough crowd getting good and drunk. Light comes mostly from a neon bar sign. Oh, from the neon bar signs. Multiple. As he passes us, a face in the background swims into focus. The younger Tulip. Seeing him for the first time, liking what she sees. Jessie leans back against the bar, sticks a cigarette in his mouth, surveys the bar with mild interest as his girlfriend searches her purse for a lighter. To Jessie's slight surprise, a woman's hand comes into view from his other side, lighting his cigarette with a silver Zippo. By the time his girlfriend has come up with her own lighter, it's too late. The girl turns, startled to see Jessie staring into Tulip's eyes as she closes the Zippo, smiling knowingly back at him. Zing. Instant connection. Hell yeah, I love a good meet cute. Anyway, interior church night. Jessie takes another pull on the bourbon, hand leant back against the pew. I have to take a sip of my tea. I'm dying. Sorry. Anyway, exterior desert highway day. A long stretch of road running through the middle of nowhere under a vast blue sky. A bright red convertible Ferrari suddenly tears past a sheriff's department cruiser, easily doing over 120 miles an hour. Huge dust cloud behind it. Interior Ferrari day. The younger Jessie and Tulip. He's driving, grinning, enjoying the attention as she laughs in delight. A quick glimpse at the cruiser disappearing in the dust behind him as she leans over to him and they kiss, smiling all the while. Interior church night. Another swig for Jessie. We move a little closer each time. Move. You can say the words right, Jen. Exterior desert night. Younger Jessie and Tulip making love on the hood of the Ferrari, lying in their own discarded clothes. Beautiful night in the desert. Towers of rock rising in the background. Sky full of stars. As we move closer, they finish, kissing each other deeply. Come on, come on. Anyway, Jessie looks down at her and they both grin, exhausted but happy. Jessie's POV. Tulip smiling up at him, happy, loving. This is his sweetest memory of her, bathed in starlight. A long moment. Interior church night. Another swig. Barely any whiskey left. He looks miserable for a moment, saddened. Interior hospital corridor night. Younger Jessie comes charging down the hospital corridor, desperate, running past various curious doctors and orderlies. He rounds a corner, enters a room, freezes in alarm. Nearer us, a doctor and a couple of nurses turn to face him. The doctor has a sympathetic look. Interior church night. Jesse's pain takes on a bitter edge as he grits his teeth to retain control. Interior hospital room night. Jesse sits alone in the darkened hospital room, staring at the floor, face in shadow. Beside him, an ECG and various monitors are turned off. As we pull back, we realize there's a body in the bed, sheet pulled up to cover the face. We pull back further and fade out. Interior church night. Jesse raises his head, and we see that anger is replacing sadness as he stares up at the cross, bitter and resentful. He gets angrier with each passing second. His lip curls into a snarl as he stands and flings the empty bottle with all of his might. It shatters in a million pieces against the cross. The sound seems huge in the enclosed space. Then it fades. Exterior church morning. Lovely day. A pickup truck pulls up and parks. Then a battered car pulls up alongside it. More engines can be heard, too. Interior church morning. Jesse lies across one of the pews, asleep in his clothes. Bright light floods in through the windows. He slowly raises his head, bleary-eyed. Not looking too good. Hair tousled. Unshaven. Red eyes. Clothes disheveled. He grimaces as the hangover makes itself known. Slowly, he becomes aware of the engine noises outside. Then he freaks.
Oh, fuck.
Exterior church morning. About a dozen cars and pickups, none in very good condition, are drawn up in front of the church. Some still parking. People, family groups mostly, are making their way towards the door. Jesse's congregation has arrived. Interior church morning. Jesse rushes desperately about, attempting to kick the broken glass and cigarette butts under the pews, do up his collar, pull on his jacket, straighten his hair, and slap himself awake, all in 5 seconds.
Sunday, it would have to be on fucking Sunday.
Exterior church morning. The folks head for the church door. The guy in front reaches to push it open. Interior church morning. Jesse stands in the aisle between the pews as bits of light from the open door falls across him. He looks a little bit cleaner, but not much. He plasters on a fake smile and fights hard to look as cheerful as possible.
Morning.
Exterior Earth orbit day. The Genesis entity tears past us. A flaming white comet plunging towards Earth, which lies below in the vast field of blue. Interior church morning. The congregation have taken their seats, and Jesse stands at the lectern leaning on it as he gives his sermon.
And that's what Jesus was trying to tell us when he did these things. That God, his Father in heaven, will forgive us our sins no matter what they might be.
Jesse really isn't looking well. The hangover's kicking in. Real good. He's sweating. Knees weak, arms are heavy, mom's spaghetti. Anyway, he runs a hand through his hair, blinks a lot to try and concentrate.
But we have to ask him for that forgiveness.
His congregation is not particularly inspiring material. Maybe 20 to 25 people, all staring dully back at him or at the floor, bored. Kids look out the windows, a couple of fat guys, a stringy-looking woman, an older guy with no chin, and a fat kid picking his nose.
And we have to mean it when we ask, or his forgiveness is rendered pointless. See, we can't expect sin to be forgiven all throughout our lives. God will can forgive us our sins, but it's up to us to accept his forgiveness and his love and live that point on without sin as best as we are able.
Jesse stifles a belch, swallows hard, sweats, tries to smile and look like a guy who's got the inside scoop.
What we can't do is come to church every Sunday and say a few quick prayers and then sin as much as we darn well want for the rest of the week.
As he continues, we focus on one of the fat guys in the congregation again. He's asleep. Then a bored teenage boy looking down at his sister's cleavage. And then the nose-picking kid and the huge booger he's hauling out of his nostril. Jesse's voice begins to falter.
That ain't the way it works, folks. The Lord wants a commitment from us, and
Jesse's eyes narrow as he peers down at them.
And he wants a promise of faith.
The nose-picking kid's booger slides out of his nose, stuck to his finger. It's a biggie, all right, all green and snattery. Snattery? Jesse's face falls in weary disgust.
Because that's how...
He clams up and we see the anger returning to his face. A moment passes.
Oh, fuck it.
That gets their attention. Exterior church morning. The ugly leg-raping dog from the previous night meanders past the church, then looks up to the sky. High in the blue above, there's a flash of bright light, a distant crack of thunder, then a faint descending glow. Interior church morning. The congregation gapes at Jesse, transfixed. He rants at them, red-faced and furious, spitting hate. He's like some evangelist on PCP as he pours out his frustration.
You bunch of dull-eyed fucks. You stupid, worthless, inbred cocksuckers. You sit there like a bunch of fucked-to-death zombies while I spout this fucking bullshit at you, and you think I do this for fun? You think this is your goddamn entertainment? I'm supposed to be looking after your fucking shitty spiritual welfare here. And all you do is sit on your fat redneck asses and stare back at me till I feel like some kind of zoo animal on Mongoloid visiting day. Well, fuck you hear me? You assholes are doing exactly the kind of shit I was talking about, and you can't even fucking see it.
He points to each particular sinner in turn, beginning with the chinless guy.
Harve Collins, I could feed half of India with the grants you get for that farm, Harve, which would be a lot more than you ever did, you chinless looking motherfucker.
The stringy looking girl is next. Horrified. So's Harve.
And what about the little straight to video release that Kate here shot in your barn? You get consent from that stallion, Kate, or were you just trying to broaden his horizons?
I've never seen this woman before in my life.
But Jesse has moved on to a spotty youth in the back row.
Mark Bannon ate dog shit for a dare last Saturday night. The fuck is it with you? You don't eat enough shit working at goddamn McDonald's?
Moving up to a dozy-looking guy in the middle with a steel plate bolted across his nose, then the petrified nose-picking kid.
But moving on past Michael here, the only Anvil boy who ever went to California, and you dirty little fucker, you ought to keep pulling till you drag out your goddamn brains. They're out of there too. And what I want to know is exactly why the fuck do you people come here? What the fuck is it you think I can do for you? I've been fucking trying to tell you, and you can't act like assholes all week and then wash it away with half an hour here on Sunday mornings. That just ain't how it works.
Exterior church morning. The dog is barking now. The white glow in the sky has grown, gotten nearer, becoming the fiery white comet we saw before. Genesis. It's on a collision course with the church. Interior church morning. The congregation is muttering now as they stare at Jesse. Not pleased. He seems to be building to a climax.
I pray for you. You know that? I ask God to help you see the way you act is wrong. I ask him to help me show you what's right. But it's been 2 years now, and you assholes are just as fucked up as you always were. And all I can conclude is that the good Lord is using my prayers to wipe his ass.
This is amazing. This is too much. Most of them get to their feet. Several shouts. The fat guy snarls.
Hey, fuck you, Custer. We never asked for you. So you tell me, God, because you got all the fucking answers. You tell me what I'm supposed to do here. Tell me how the good people of Anvil, Texas figure in the grand design. You bust me up with a girl so perfect I could live 100 lifetimes and never meet another like her, and then you send me to this worthless fucking shithole so I can minister to all these goddamn throwbacks. So come on, Lord, give me a sign. Give me some incontrovertible evidence that the Almighty ain't got his head shoved firmly up his ass.
Preach. A sudden explosion of light. The door flies apart. Before anyone can even turn to look, the Genesis comet charges into the church and right at Jesse. His eyes bulge in amazement. The comet comes to life, comes at him in slow motion. A white, hot ball of light trailing fire. A beautiful, angelic man's face. Angelic man's face appears in the light, screaming soundlessly. It changes instantly to an equally beautiful but demonic, disturbing woman's face. Shoot. Also screaming. What am I doing? Then it hits Jesse, no longer in slow motion. Another burst of light, and then he's hurled backwards against the cross. The comet disappears. Jesse falls to the ground in a heap. The congregation stares, then they turn to each other, bewildered.
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck's up with the Reverend?
Jesse is suddenly flung into the air and hangs there, limbs jerking and twitching, eyeballs rolled over white, sparks and smoke coming off him. A vast figure is glimpsed in the smoke and lights around him, first with huge wings that flicker and disappear, then with cloven hooves and long curved horns, a distant rumbling. The congregation stares, riveted but terrified. Then the smoking and sparking stop, as does the noise. The figure disappears, only Jesse is left, hanging there, apparently unconscious. Exterior church morning, a sudden blast of white light from within, terrified screaming, a pause, then the windows shatter outwards, and the roof explodes into the sky. The building shakes, boards flying loose from the wall, but the structure just about holds. The white light flares up and out, filling the screen. Exterior motel day, Tulip gloomily dumps an overnight bag and her purse into the passenger seat of her pickup truck. She takes one last look around Anvil, finds nothing inspiring, and gets in. Interior Tulip's pickup day. She sits there for a moment, gloomy, then examines her reflection in the rear view. Sad girl. She pulls out her lipstick out of her purse, giving us a quick glimpse of the .357 Desert Eagle concealed therein. Come on, Tulip's got a gun. And turns back to the mirror. She squints at it, curious. Her eyes widen as the view behind her suddenly disappears in a white flash. Tulip freaks, instinctively ducking down in her seat. The pickup rocks back and forth. When Tulip sits up again, the whiteness is gone and the view is back to normal, except for a pall of smoke rising on the other side of the town. Tulip is stunned almost to silence, horror building in her.
Jesse.
She starts the pickup. Exterior Anvil Main Street day. Several people are stumbling into the street to stare at the rising smoke. They scatter as Tulip's pickup truck charges down the street through them. Interior Tulip's pickup. Tulip guns it, scares but determined. Exterior church day. The church is a wreck. The four walls are still intact, but not much else. Black smoke pours from within. Tulip's truck screeches to a halt. She jumps out and runs into the church. The leg-raping dog has been reduced to a blackened skeleton. Did not realize I was going to be saying rape this much today. Anyway, interior church day. Despite the smoke, the church isn't actually on fire. The walls are badly holed, the roof is gone, the place is a soot-stained wreck. But as Tulip discovers, picking her way downtown, carefully through the rubble, the smoke is coming from the remains of the congregation. Their scorched skeletons lie sprawled over the pews or flung back into seated positions, little fires burning inside the rib cages, flesh burnt clean off the bones. A hellish scene. Tulip advances, shocked. Fearful of what's yet to come, she coughs a bit, wafts the smoke aside. She passes the skeleton of the nose-picking kid, sitting stupidly with a bony finger jammed in its nasal cavity. This is amazing. She turns to us, catches sight of something, stifles a gasp. Jesse lies sprawled across the little platform at the front. Come on, lectern. Burning pages from the Bible fluttering around him. His face is smeared with soot, his hair tangled, his clothes scorched and filthy, unconscious. Tulip rushes to him, terrified. She feels for a pulse, frantic, then smiles with infinite gratitude and relief. She got a pulse. Jesse stirs a little, grunts. Tulip looks around at the ghastly remains of the congregation, then down at Jesse. She's thinking fast, very wary.
Jesus Christ, Jesse, what are you into?
She gets an arm under him and hauls him up. Exterior church day. Tulip shoves the unconscious Jesse up and into the back of her pickup, straining with all her might. She seems pretty agitated, ready to be off. She opens the passenger side door, grabs a blanket from under the seat. As she closes the door, she notices several townfolk making their way towards the church.
We really have to be going.
She stretches Jesse out, hurrying, and spreads the blanket over him. Then she climbs into the truck, starts her up, and speeds off. Exterior desert day. Miles from anywhere. Ominous storm clouds hang low overhead. Rumble of thunder. A sudden dust storm blows right at us, surrounding us totally. Way back in the swirling dust, a figure can just be made out. Weirdly transparent at first, dust whipping through it. It moves towards us, all the while getting more solid as it moves closer. Thus arrives the Saint of Killers. As he gets closer, we can make out details. The flapping duster coat, wide-brimmed hat hiding his face. He strides towards us, then past us, an unstoppable quality to his gait, as if he's going forever and nothing gets in his path. He keeps his head lowered so we never see his face, but then we get a glimpse of a holstered pistol, a gnarled hand. The dust howls around him as he passes, then he's gone. Exterior church sundown. 2 sheriff's department cruisers are pulled up outside the shattered church. A couple of deputies keep an eye on the small crowd watching from the edge of the town. 2 more stand outside the church with a taller figure. Sheriff Hugo Root. A pair of forensic guys come and go from the church to their car parked near the cruisers.
Ask me. I reckon it was bitches.
Perfect. Them bitches. Hugo stands with hands on his hips, squinting meanly at the church. Pretty much the way he looks at everything. He spits from time to time. With him are Deputy Foster, a fat guy, and Deputy Kenny, a younger guy who clearly doesn't think too much of his sheriff, and in fact has doubts about the man's sanity.
How do you figure that, Sheriff Root?
Kind of thing they do.
What? Burn down a church full of folks clear down to the ground? Scorch all the flesh off of them? They do that?
Martian bitches, Kenny, come down from space to abduct white folks. Take them away and make them do all kinds of sexual shit. even experiment up their asses with probes.
Hugo doesn't notice Kenny's doubtful look simply because he rarely bothers to look at whoever he's talking to. He just bangs on with the air of a man 100% certain of his subject. He rarely gets rattled or hurried. The sourness inside him's Let's try that sentence again. The sourness inside him curdles as it's at its own easy pace. We're still not doing great.
Government and FBI, they know shit they ain't telling us. Got an Air Force hangar and a spaceship and a dead Martian motherfucker inside. Except they don't reckon we're ready to know about it yet.
Well, that pickup seen heading away from there. None of our eyewitnesses said anything about colored people.
Don't have to be colored if they're from Mars, Kenny. You ever read that book, Communion?
Can't say that I have, Sheriff Root.
Fella in that knew all about him, except he got the wrong idea. Only Communion your Martian motherfucker understands is the kind I got right here.
Deputy Foster shouts from one of the cruisers where he's on the radio. We can hear it crackling.
Sheriff Root, Sheriff Meeker says he's got you the chopper and Marksman you requested, but he wants you to go talk to some media people.
You tell him to fuck you. You tell him Hugo Root says fuck you. Tell him I want that chopper up here now and keep that media fucks away or I'll send him back in body bags.
Sheriff Root, you figure maybe that with the way these people blasted the goddamn bones, we ought to wait for some real backup before we go looking for them?
We got air support and snipers and half a dozen roadblocks being set up right now, Kenny. You ain't going no weak sister on me, are you?
All I'm saying is it could be more than we can handle here.
It could be. I'm going to take the big shit tomorrow and find the keys to Graceland in the bowl. But I kind of doubt that as well. Martian motherfuckers, Kenny. Wait and see.
And Kenny is left fuming quietly. Exterior gas station night. Rundown place beside a desert road. No other buildings about. The night is still. Tulip's pickup is parked at one of the pumps and she's filling the tank. She finishes, leans over to look at Jesse, anxious. He doesn't look good at all. Sweating, fidgeting in his sleep, face twisting.
What am I doing with you? I must need my fucking head examined.
I don't know why I keep turning off my camera. Anyway, she pulls the blanket tighter around him, takes her purse from the driver's seat, and heads off to pay. Out on the edge of the gas station, a scruffy-looking guy pads out of the desert night, stops to survey the station. Tulip's pickup catches his eye. It's Cassidy, tired, but with a sneaky grin on his face.
Fucking deadly.
Good reveal, Travis. I'm proud of you. Interior gas station night. Tulip has piled a first aid kit and several bottles of water into the front of the bored-looking clerk.
These two, please.
The clerk grunts. Tulip looks around, curious, as an engine starts. Out the window, we see her pickup start to move away.
Fuck!
She races out of the office and sprints after the truck as it heads for the road, fumbling in her purse. Interior Tulip's pickup night. Cassidy is driving, whistling happy to himself. Just as he pulls out onto the road, Tulip leaps onto the truck, grabbing the driver's side door and hauling herself up. With her free hand, she sticks the gun we saw earlier in Cassidy's face. Furious. He's startled.
Pull over.
Cassidy stares at her in amazement. Keeps going.
I said pull over, asshole. What the fuck do you think you're doing?
What the fuck does it look like I'm doing? I'm stealing your pickup truck.
Travis. It's so good. Exterior desert road night. The truck picks up speed, racing past us with Tulip hanging off the side. Up ahead, there's a rise in the road with some low hills beyond. Interior Tulip's pickup night. Cassidy can't believe this. Finds it hilarious. Me too. This makes Tulip even angrier.
Son of a bitch, stop the truck and get out. Now!
Oh, bollocks to that, love. I've been walking across that desert for 3 nights now, and I'm not fucking stopping for anyone.
know how I'm cocking the gun with one hand, but okay. I fucking mean it.
In the back of the truck, Jesse is being bounced around all over the place. He wakes slowly, still woozy.
Uh-huh.
Cassidy is actually looking a bit concerned now, but not for himself. Tulip's ready to shoot.
Will you, for fuck's sake, get rid of that thing and I'll stop and let you off. You're only gonna hurt yourself, you know?
What I'm going to do is blow your head clean out of the fucking windshield if you don't stop the truck in 3 seconds time. 3, 2.
Cassidy faces front, freaks.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Exterior desert road night. As the truck comes over the rise in the road, it screeches to a halt in a huge broadside skid. 20 yards ahead is Hugo Route's roadblock. 2 cruisers have been parked in the road with just enough space for a car to slip between them, and then only by turning sharply. Powerful lights flood the pickup. 8 deputies man the roadblock, reacting immediately to the pickup's arrival. Interior Tulip's pickup night. Cassidy is damn near flung through the windshield. That is the most southern thing ever. Just written. Anyway, by the emergency stop, and Tulip barely keeps a grip, dropping the gun on a truck seat. Her legs are flung out behind her. In the back, Jesse's head bangs hard into the wall of the cab. He slams a hand to the injured area, agonized, furious.
God damn it!
Exterior desert road night. No sooner has the truck stopped moving than a sheriff's department helicopter roars up over the hill from behind the roadblock. Interior helicopter night. Behind the pilot, a marksman takes aim with a mean-looking scope rifle at the pickup truck below. He wears a radio headset over which we hear the crackle of static.
Sheriff Root, I have not repeat. I got a lock on him, sir.
Exterior desert road night. The deputies take cover behind the cars, taking aim with a variety of handguns, pump shotguns, and M16s. Standing in the middle, revolver in one hand, bullhorn in the other, is Hugo Root. Kenny and Foster are at his side.
Just say the word.
You fucks exit the truck with your hands in the air, or you will be fired upon. Do it now, or we open fire.
Interior Tulip's pickup night. Cassidy and Tulip stare out at the cops, stunned.
No.
Shy, you know, I could really do without this at the minute.
You've gone through so many accents right now, Travis. I love it. Interior helicopter night. The marksman opens fire even as Hugo speaks. 3 quick shots.
Wake him up in there.
Interior Tulip's pickup night. Cassidy and Tulip recoil in shock as the bullets punch through the hood barely a foot in front of them.
Oh, freaking Jesus!
They exit the truck fast. Exterior desert road night. Cassidy and Tulip get out of the truck, hands high. As the helicopter passes overhead, Jesse can be seen in the back of the truck, still holding his head.
You got a third subject in the back, Sheriff Root. One more guy.
Hugo shouts again. His deputies are squinting down their gun sights, taking no chances.
You in the back. We ain't gonna warn you again. Get your ass out of there.
Jesse sits up, rubbing his head. He notices Tulip, then Cassidy, both standing with their hands raised. He frowns. Cassidy's bewildered at his sudden appearance. Tulip is at a loss.
Christ.
Who the fuck's he?
Put your hands on the truck and spread your legs. Make any other attempt to move and I guarantee it, you're fucked.
Hugo puts the bullhorn down, relaxes a bit. Kenny doesn't seem so confident. A couple of deputies move forward, the rest stay put.
We got these sons of bitches.
The helicopter makes a low pass on our heroes, now leaning against the truck as per Hugo's instructions. Jesse rubs his head, grimacing angrily.
This is like a night out with the fucking OJ.
Tulip, what the fuck is going on here?
You in the suit. Both hands on the truck, I said.
Fuck this.
He turns towards the roadblock, grim as hell, lowering his arms. Tulip gasps.
Jesse, stop. They'll kill you.
Hugo snarls again. Lots of clicks as his men cock their guns.
Hold it right there, mister. You put your hands on that truck or we will lawfully blow your ass all over this goddamn highway.
Jesse raises his head, glares at us. He looks like he really means business. Then, when he speaks, everything else goes utterly silent. There's a weird, deep echo to his voice. This is the Word of God, the power he's gotten from Genesis.
Drop the guns. All of you. And let us go.
The deputies freeze. So does Hugo. Their faces go blank. A moment passes. Then they start dropping their guns on the ground. A loud clatter as the various firearms hit the deck. Interior helicopter night. The marksman, equally blank-faced, drops his rifle out the side of the copter. The sound of the rotors can be heard beating faintly as if far away. Exterior, desert road, night. The marksman's rifle lands on Deputy Foster's head, dropping him instantly. Hugo is right beside him but can only blink, confused. Jesse stares to the astonished Tulip and Cassidy, quietly determined.
I think we ought to be leaving.
They stare at him for a second, then snap out of it.
I'm with you, mate.
Just a fucking second. This guy was gonna steal my truck.
Jesse's eyes narrow as he turns to Cassidy, who grins disarmingly.
But I can explain that. Just give us a lift down the road, will ya? I'd really appreciate it.
Like hell.
Jesse studies Cassidy carefully. Cassidy meets his gaze without being hostile. They're sizing each other up.
Get in the truck.
Ah, nice one.
Have you gone out of your fucking mind?
Jesse looks ready to speak, then freezes. His eyes narrow in intense, bewildered concentration. We close up on his face. Interior Jesse's vision. A 3-second flash of images, blazing flames, an angelic face screaming, a demonic face roaring. Exterior desert road night. Jesse's face twists in confusion, then he snaps out of it. Snap out of it! I keep wanting to do share. I'm sorry. Anyway, looks at Tulip.
I ain't about to leave anyone to get fucked up by these assholes. We can talk about it later, okay?
Tulip glances at the cops, fumes, wrenches open the door. Jesse gets in and she follows. Cassidy's already gotten in the passenger side. Exterior desert night. We look past someone's leg and flapping duster coat at the distant lights of the roadblock. The Saint has arrived. Exterior desert road night. Tulip starts the engine, moves off. Hugo and his deputies snap out of it. Snap out of it! Damn it! The truck speeds through their roadblock, narrowly missing a couple of the cruisers. They're amazed.
Pick up your fucking guns, you assholes.
They do, but by then the truck has raced away. General confusion. Deputy Foster gets shakily to his feet, poking at his bleeding scalp. Hugo, having retrieved his pistol, is furious.
You bunch of goddamn by the Jesus stupid cock-sucking fucks. You stood there and let those bastards drive away.
So did you.
One of the deputies on the edge of the group turns towards us, eyes narrowing. Oh, it's me! Sheriff Root! Hugo yanks open the door of the nearest cruiser.
Well, come on, for Jesus' sake. Get after them. You there. Get that chopper on the horn.
Sheriff Root! Everyone turns, Hugo included. The deputy, rather shaken, points out into the desert. About 30 yards from the roadblock stands the Saint of Killers. Not too much detail visible on him yet. The deputies watch, not sure of what to do or make of him. Kenny's eyes narrow, cautious. He's standing slightly in front of Hugo. Hugo slams the door shut, glares at us.
Well, well, well.
The Saint is unmoved, coat flapping a little in the breeze, head lowered slightly so the brim of his hat hides most of his face. Hugo puts a hand to his holstered pistol. His deputies bring up their weapons, not taking their eyes off of the Saint.
Who the fuck have we got here?
Oh, I can think of his Oogie Boogie right now. No answer comes. Hugo looks annoyed.
You look to me like you might be trouble, mister.
The Saint doesn't move. His voice isn't much more than a slow whisper, but it sounds terribly grim, full of restrained threat.
Yeah.
Amazing. The Saint raises his head, slow and deliberate. His eyes are cold and hard, promising nothing but death. Utterly riveting, terrifying. His lip curls slightly. He speaks through his teeth, unimpressed by what he sees, a hint of disdain in his voice. To him, this is just an inconvenience, not worth getting angry or peeved over. He does everything slowly, gradually. He has no need to rush.
And you don't look to me like the man who'll stop it.
The deputies are suddenly, unaccountably scared, looking warily at one another. Hugo grimaces, annoyed.
Is that a fact?
Sheriff Root?
Who the fuck does this asshole think he is? You boys get ready now.
The saint pushes his coat back to reveal his holstered pistols. He doesn't pose with his hands over them or any Hollywood gunfighter bullshit. He acts like he has all the time in the world.
Sheriff Root, for God's sakes, look at him.
Fuck you, Kenny. The minute he goes for those pistols, you open.
The saint's hands blur to his holsters and come up with 2 black Iron Walker Colt revolvers. 2 massive roaring blasts fill the air. Flames shoot from the muzzles. Smoke belches back. Deputy Foster's large gut explodes in a welter of gore. Kenny barely registers this as his shoulder erupts in a spray of blood and his entire arm is blown off. The arm cartwheels past Hugo in slow motion, still holding Kenny's pistol, blood jetting everywhere. Hugo gasps as blood from the arm sprays into his face. The saint steps towards the terrified deputies, cocks his pistols, and fires again. He aims casually as he moves forward at a stroll. The others bring up their guns and open fire. Multiple shots, automatic and shotgun fire. 2 of them are flung backwards by the saint's bullets, torn bloodily open. Son of a bitch!
Drop him!
Bullets and slugs mash into the saint, staggering him slightly. Smash. Good job, Jen. One smashes into his face, turning his head. He turns back, grimacing, clearly not pleased. There's a hole in his face and several more in his chest, but no blood comes out. It's like dead meat underneath. The deputies gape in amazement. Oh no. The saint cocks his pistols as he advances, now barely yards from the parked cruisers. One guy breaks and runs. Another sinks behind the car, cowering in terror. The other 2 resume firing. The saint takes more hits, but isn't worried. He walks towards Kenny, who lies on the ground in deep shock. Ruined shoulder, pumping blood into a widening pool on the road. The shooting continues as the saint's shadow falls across Kenny, who opens his eyes. He dies a rather pissed off man.
Fuck you, Sheriff Root.
The saint doesn't bother to aim, just pulls the trigger as he walks past Kenny. Another blast. He brings up the second pistol as more bullets smash into him, fires. A deputy's head is blown completely apart. Ooh. The one cowering behind the cruiser is blubbering pathetically, back jammed against the side of the car. The last guy, still shooting, yells desperately at the cowardly guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ, please say we die. Fuck you, fucking tell we die, tell we die.
For Christ's sake, shoot back at him, you stupid son of a bitch! The saint takes careful aim, fires once. The bullet punches through the side panel of the cruiser just over the front wheel with a metallic clang. On the other side, the scared deputy gapes in amazement as the bullet tears out of his chest in a shower of blood and meat. The deputy beside him ceases fire. Thank you for laughing, Travis, but you're now interrupting the fucking script! Damn it! The deputy beside him ceases fire, turning to stare. Beyond him, about 50 yards down the road, we see the deputy who broke and ran earlier. Another roaring gunshot, and the nearer deputy loses the front of his head. Beyond him, about a second later, the running deputy throws up his arms and fails. Also fails. At that sentence. Interior Tulip's pickup night. Jesse turns to stare out the back window, bewildered. The lights of the firefight and the roadblock can be seen reflected in the glass.
Tulip, will you pull over for a second?
Will I what?
Exterior Desert Road night. Hugo Root kneels at the end of the carnage, furious, trying to wipe the blood out of his eyes.
What the fuck is going on? Fuck, sons of fucking whores.
He clears his eyes, looks up blinking, realizes the saint's legs are about 3 feet away. The saint watches calmly, pistols held at his sides. He's been shot about a dozen times, but the wounds seem like nothing more than cuts or bad bruises. It's only a flesh wound. He's not so angry now, back to the slow-burning disdain. Hugo stands up slow, holding his hands up, open and empty. He's not so much scared as very, very cautious. His pistol is gone from its holster.
Now, you can see I ain't armed.
The saint raises one of the pistols, points it right at us. The muzzle is a yawning black chasm.
Reckon you can see that I am.
Hugo closes his eyes, sweating buckets. Weary, disgruntled fear shows at last on his face. Then, multiple gunshots, and the Saint is rocked by the impact of several bullets. The sound of the helicopter rotors comes back. The helicopter roars back into place over the shattered roadblock. Interior helicopter night. The Marksman has an automatic pistol, dead aimed with both hands, yelling into his radio headset.
Sheriff Root, run! Get the fuck out of there!
Exterior desert road night. The Saint turns to look up at the copter, not too impressed. Behind him, Hugo snaps out of it and runs like hell. The copter hovers barely 20 yards over the cars and scattered bodies, the Saint turning towards it. The Marksman can clearly be seen, locked on target.
You! Drop them gums and raise your fucking hands. I don't see them empty. I drop you lower and worm shit.
The Saint raises an eye, not convinced.
You point that pistol and see if I'm joking, motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker. Exterior Tulip's truck night. Cassidy and Jesse have exited the truck and are peering back along the road. Tulip watches from the truck, wary.
Well?
It's hard to see.
A sudden flash of light illuminates them as they stagger back, shielding their eyes. Exterior desert road night. Massive flaring explosion with a rumbling, echoing blast. Right on top of the two cruisers with the copter's tail sticking out of the inferno. Pieces of blazing car and copter fly into the air. Exterior Tulip's truck night. Cassidy's freaked. Let's show us your surprised face, Travis. Jesse peers closely at us, shielding his eyes with the flames as the flames light his face.
Well, fuck me sideways.
Perfect. Exterior desert road night. A silhouetted figure takes shape in the flames. The Saint. He strides slowly from the wreckage. His clothes are burnt and sooty, but he seems otherwise unhurt. Slow burning grimace on his face.
You.
Hell yeah. Interior Jesse's vision. Another 3-second flash. The demon and angel faces again. The angel's hand locked around the demon's throat. The demon biting bloody strips of flesh from the angel's neck. Then silver clouds and bright sunlight. Exterior Tulip's truck night. Jesse turns to the equally freaked Cassidy, and they stare at each other.
He means you.
Jesse stares at him, then turns to the truck. A second later, Cassidy snaps out of it. Snaps out of it, too.
Tulip, let's go. You come on if you're coming.
Fucking right I am.
They scramble into the truck and Tulip guns it. The truck races off. Exterior desert road night. Backlit by the flames, the Saint strides towards and then past us, unconcerned. Interior Sheriff's Department building, outer office night. A weary secretary starts to stand as Hugo Root marches past her, then freezes.
Sheriff Root, you can't just barge in. Oh.
Interior Sheriff Meeker's office night. Average-sized office, desk and chairs piled high with files, overflowing filing cabinets, photos on the wall, notice board covered in documents. Sheriff Meeker, an amiable guy in his late 40s, sits behind the desk and sips his coffee relaxed. Meeker rarely gets too agitated. Detective Dinnings, 30, sits opposite him, reading a file, not enjoying the coffee he's drinking. He's a pretty sharp guy, probably destined for bigger things. He's hard to shock, usually just quietly amused by other people.
Did somebody come in this coffee?
I get excited when I heard you were on your way. Couldn't help it. So, what do you make of all this?
Well, judging by what he said over the radio there, I'd say your Sheriff Root is 100%.
The door opens and in barges Hugo, fuming. He's still covered in gore and dirt, dried blood smeared across his face.
Meeker, I want you to get right on that fucking phone and call Washington. I want you to get those government sons of bitches down here to answer for what they done. Those by the Jesus cock-sucking Yankees think they can use us to test their goddamn experiments on. They can fucking think again.
Dinnings stands, trying not to smile. Meeker just looks pained.
Now, just hold on a minute there, Hugo. You been to the hospital to get yourself checked out? Ain't nothing wrong with me, goddammit.
Really?
And who the fuck are you supposed to be? Hugo, this is Detective Dinnings. I don't give a good fuck who he is. Do you know who's been let loose out there? Do you know what happened to my deputies tonight? Well, I heard what you radioed in. One suspect matching the description of the missing minister from Anvil apparently ordered you and your boys to drop your guns, which you did, and the second suspect was able to withstand multiple gunshot wounds while killing every single deputy in your command. Goddamn right.
A moment passes, Meeker watching Hugo sadly, Hugo glaring back at him, Dinnings smiling as he studies Hugo.
Shit. Case closed.
Fuck you.
Dinnings grins. Meeker looks weary.
Hugo. We're wasting time here, Meeker. You call Washington, tell them we're on to them and their goddamn FBI genetic experiments. I know all about it. I read all those books. They've been using Martian motherfucking technology trying to keep it quiet from us normal folks.
By now, Dinnings is struggling not to laugh, but Hugo doesn't notice. Meeker seems genuinely sad for him.
Then sons of bitches built a fella you can make do whatever he tells you and a dirty motherfucker cop killer robot, and they let him loose on us. I got proof right here. See this? Deputy Kenny. I love that boy like he was my own, and now I'm gonna have to go home and shampoo him out of my hair. And I want to know just what the fuck you're planning to do about it. Okay, Hugo, thanks for your report. We've got boys turning all over the state, and the border posts have been alerted. We're going to pick these people up sooner or later, and as soon as we do, we'll let you know.
Hugo's about to go wash that man right out of his hair. That's Jen's third musical reference now. Hugo fumes. Meeker is sympathetic but firm. Dinnings looks hard at the floor.
Get on home and get some rest, huh?
Hugo sneers. Then after a last hard glare at the both of them, he turns and marches out of the office, slamming the door as he goes. Meeker slumps a little, returns to his seat. Dinnings rubs his jaw, smiles a little. A moment passes in silence.
Ain't you gonna call Washington?
Laugh it up. I've been working with Hugo Root for damn near 20 years now. We're agreed somebody killed his deputies, yeah?
Yeah, no doubt about it, but I just ain't ready to call them X-Files yet, is all. Any word on the scene?
Tanks went up when the chopper crashed on the cars. Can't establish shit till they clean it up a little. What do you make of Anvil, by the way?
Well, from the looks of good things, I'd say somebody waited till the good people had gathered to worship and laid in 20 gallons of napalm. She would like a word with this Reverend Custer about how we got out of it.
Well,
It's just a theory, Sheriff. Hell, gotta be better than Hugo's, right?
right. I know he looks like what happened when White met Trash, but
He looks like a man who's not afraid to fuck his career in the ass.
you ever hear about what happened to Hugo's boy?
Till tonight, I never even heard of Hugo.
Kid put a 12 gauge up to his head.
Oh, no shit.
Meeker sits back, thoughtful, links his fingers behind his head.
Not because of Hugo. Let's see now, this boy would have been about 16. You know how kids get at that age, all surly and rebellious and disrespectful. Hugo kicked his ass twice a day. Once even put a cigarette out on his arm, and all he got for his troubles was fuck you.
Dinnings is getting interested.
Now the boy is a big fan of those rock star boys, and one of those modern ones sounds like the Down syndrome fell out of his music. Then this gets Hugo's ass up in a double. How are we supposed to listen to Hank, Waylon, and Tammy with all that shit coming through the wall? Well, came the day the rock star blew his goddamn fool head off. The way these fellas are prone to do. Boy hears the news and tucks Hugo's Remington under his chin, follows his hero's footsteps.
Don't suppose Hugo mourned too much, huh?
Didn't have to.
The boy's alive?
Meeker starts fumbling through a desk drawer.
Bear with me a minute, will you? Yeah. After taking a slug through the face, point blank, and after 6 or 7 operations to fix him up, boy's indeed alive. Ah, here we are.
He comes up with an 8x10 photo, which we never see. He looks at it, frowning thoughtfully.
I got a teenage boy of my own, and every time he pisses me off, every dumb thing he says to his mom, every joint I catch him with, or just when I hear him playing that goddamn rap shit. I take a look at this, and all of a sudden, he don't seem quite so bad.
Oh, hi, Starbuck. He turns the photo around, holds it up. Looking past it, we see Dinnings gape in shock and horror. Exterior Hugo's house front door night. Arseface opens the door and sticks his head out at us, filling the screen. Arseface's dialogue is a stream of grunts and moans, and yet he never sounds anything other than completely cheerful. Try sticking your tongue hard into your lower lip, then speaking his lines. A translation is run in subtitles along the bottom of the screen.
Hi, Dad.
I love you. Hugo barges past him into the house, doing his best to ignore his son completely. Arseface doesn't seem to notice.
How's your day?
Interior Hugo's house night. Hugo walks into the front room, fuming quietly as Arseface follows him, chattering away. He's not talking on a radio. Good job, yeah. The house is sparsely furnished and not very clean. Worn out furniture, old TV set. Hugo dumps his hat on the coffee table, sits down.
Still no letter from Mom. But I bet she'll be home any day now. You want to relax and I'll bring you a beer? Sound good?
Stop with the walkie-talkie shit, Travis. I love it. It's amazing. He heads for the kitchen, turns, gives the thumbs up.
You betcha.
Left alone, Hugo stares hatefully at the wall for a moment, pissed off at his wretched lot in life. Then he closes his eyes, puts his head in his hands, and breaks down completely. Exterior Roadhouse Bar night. The bar is a wide, one-story building out in the desert with several cars and pickups, including Tulips, in the parking lot. Across the road from it is a small, all-night supermarket mini-mall with more cars parked outside. Seems to be closing. Closing time. The bar, however, is very much open. A large neon sign over it reads The Rattler. People come and go. Music drifts out into the night. Interior Roadhouse Bar night. Inside, The Rattler is a fairly dead kind of place. Same mix of smoke, neon, and gloom that we've seen before. Plenty of people in, but everyone seems to stay in little groups or couples. No dancing, no boisterous groups around the bar. A good place to go to drink yourself into a wretched mess and cry into your whiskey. Couple of waitresses at work, not exactly rushed off their feet. One is young and pretty. Cassidy and Tulip sit at the table near the back. Tulip trying to be inconspicuous. Cassidy glances around, naturally curious. He smokes and drinks beer. She is some kind of stupid cocktail with an umbrella in it. Bitch, it's probably a mojito. Bartender nightmare. Anyway, a glass of bourbon and ice sit in front of an empty chair.
A bourbon-hito happened fucking in place, isn't it?
Keep it down, will you? We're meant to be blending in.
Blend in? Sure you just went on a shopping spree across there? The road there? Whoop!
I had to get him something to wear. I mean, he's going to stand out in a while. He's going to stand out a mile walking around covered in burnt rags, isn't he? And by the way, would you mind telling me what the fuck you think you're doing following us in here?
Well, you helped me out of a tight spot back there. I reckon one good turn deserves another.
Look, he and I have got a lot to talk about, and I mean a fuck of a lot. So, you know, which good turn you can do for us, don't you?
What's that?
Fuck off.
Interior bar restroom night. A tiny, grimy little room. Jesse dumps all his old clothes into the trash. Last to go is the white collar, which he hesitates on. Lowering it, he studies his reflection in the mirror intently. He looks a little bit pissed off, but a sense of determination.
What the fuck is happening to me?
Interior Roadhouse Bar night. Cassidy leans back, laughing to himself. Tulip glares, clearly irritated. # damn it, Travis.
Oh, now that's cold.
Hold, I see you try to steal my truck, and now you're sitting here talking about helping us, which I don't believe for a second, by the way.
I have to admit, I do have a wee bit of an ulterior motive.
Really?
Aye, there's a trick your boyfriend does where he can make people do things like he's speaking the word of God. Well, I can see one thing, or one or two possibilities hanging around with a fella like that.
Oh, I'll bet you can.
Miss Crawford, Miss Turlington, smear my handsome Irish friend in Southern comfort, and then lick it all off and start again. Mr. Jagger, load Keats Coke into the back of that 747, then sign this here check.
And why would Jesse want to do all this for you exactly?
Hey, I don't believe in getting something from nothing, you know. I might be able to help you.
How?
Hidden talents, love.
Tulip raises an eye.
I'm Irish, for starters. That never hurts. You couldn't hear with my southernness. And there's something else you should know about me, too.
Yeah.
Oh, look. There's your boyfriend now, blending in.
Jesse enters the bar dressed in his new clothes, the white collar setting off the black outfit. He's cleaned himself up a bit too and cuts a quite dashing figure as he strides across the bar toward the rear table. He seems to radiate supreme self-confidence, lighting up a Marlboro as he goes, hardly aware of anyone else. Several folks notice him, including the pretty young waitress, who likes what she sees and discreetly sets off after him. A bunch of rednecks notice her, noticing him, instantly disapproving. These guys are all young bucks on their 5th or 6th beer, just about ready to go looking for trouble. Jesse notices none of this. He moseys over to the table, watched by Tulip, who can't help but smile, a hint of nostalgia here for her. Jesse sits down, picks up his glass. Cassidy smiles amiably.
You still here?
Jesus, I thought you Texans were supposed to be friendly.
The hell'd you hear that?
I made it up. I like to believe that best of people, you know?
Jesse thinks about that, finds himself smiling with a slight edge. The waitress arrives. You ready for another drink, Reverend?
Yeah, same again for me and the lady. You want another beer?
Aye, please.
Off goes the waitress, smiling at Jesse, not seeing Tulip's little glare.
That's awful decent of you.
Not really. You're paying.
They smile shrewdly at each other for a moment, then Cassidy grins.
Appears to me we haven't been properly introduced. My name's Cassidy. You're Jesse and you're Turnip, is that right?
Tulip.
Aye, Tulip.
Before you arrived, Cassidy was trying to think of one good reason why he shouldn't just fuck off and die.
I told you I know things other fellas don't. When you've been around for as long as I have, you pick up all sorts of useful wee tricks.
What do you mean as long as you have? What are you doing out here anyway?
You know, seeing the world. That's how I came to be borrowing your truck, as a matter of fact, through a series of adventures too fucking mental to go into now. I found myself stranded in the arse end of nowhere. Cheers for giving us a lift out of it. I noticed you're still wearing the collar there.
Yeah. Well, I reckon I still have business with the Lord. I'd like to know what the fuck happened to me today, for one thing. How come I'm able to do what I did with those deputies? And who the hell that gunfighter son of a bitch is, too?
Tulip nudges him as the waitress returns with their drinks, and they all clam up. The girl pays special attention to Jessie as she sets down the drinks. Nobody notices, but a couple of the rednecks have sidled over to eavesdrop. I brung your change. Hey, I've been wondering, are you a real preacher?
Now, what would a real one be doing in a denizen like this? You gonna keep it, honey.
Thank you, Reverend. Cassidy forks over a 10 spot, and off she goes.
Don't mention it. Well, it's pretty blatant obvious to me that all this stuff's linked up. I mean, from what you were saying earlier, you get hit by this, whatever it is, you know, incinerate your congregation?
Not by choice. Well, probably not.
You developed this word of God, and all of a sudden you've got the gunfire after you.
Because he doesn't want me doing this shit or something? Yeah, figures.
I'll tell you one thing about him. He looks like a good man to avoid like the fucking plague.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe so.
Like I say, I want some answers. If it turns out I gotta go to him to get them, there it is.
You see what he did out there tonight? The bastard can shoot down helicopters. Bullets bounce off him. He can walk through a fucking firestorm, for Jesus Christ.
I don't care if he can shoot cruise missiles from his pecker. Nobody, and I mean nobody, fucks with me like I've been fucked with today and walks away with their teeth still intact. If that motherfucker wants to get in my way, he's going to be wearing his 6 guns up his ass.
A pause. Cassidy seems rather phased, not sure what to think.
Not much of one for backing down in the face of adversity, are you, Jesse?
Jesse just drinks his juice, Shelby. He drinks his bourbon. Tulip looks at Cassidy, warily shaking her head. No, he isn't. Nor was he ever. Exterior truck stop bar night, a very different sort of bar, the 1010. A number of 18-wheelers parked outside. Loud country music blares from within, along with raised voices, shouts. Sounds good and lively. A truck roars past in the background. Interior truck stop bar night. This is indeed a much livelier place than the Rattler. The clientele is generally older, truckers in their 30s and 40s cutting loose, a jukebox pumping out C&W at full volume, waitresses getting friendly with the boys. A number of locals about too, a few couples about, basically lots of friends meeting up, enjoying all their all too rare times together as they pass through. Several folks dancing. At the bar, a slightly toasted trucker slaps his pals on the back, kisses the barmaid goodbye, and weaves for the door.
I gotta go, boys. I need to sleep this off and be halfway to Memphis by tomorrow night. We'll see you.
You say hi to your wife for me, Frank.
That'll be the day.
Out he goes. The others go back to their conversation. A moment passes. Then there's the most God almighty bang, and the trucker is flung back into the bar with half his chest blown away, frantically trying to stay on his feet. He falls backwards, smashes into the jukebox, the music stops. Then he falls on the floor and dies in a bloody heap. Everyone gapes. A confused buzz of fear and confusion fills the air. People move to the fallen trucker. Then one guy turns towards the door. Freezes.
Oh, Jesus.
It's the saint, framed in the doorway, blue smoke, curling up from his pistol. Everyone turns to leave, turns to stare, riveted. I would leave, though. He strides up to the bar, oblivious to their stares. There's a loud clunk as he sets the revolver on the bar. He fixes the petrified barmaid with his steely gaze.
Risky.
Mouth clamped shut for fear she'll scream, the barmaid sets down a glass and pours him a shot. The noise of the flowing whiskey is the only thing audible. The saint knocks it back, sets down the glass. For just a moment, he seems thoughtful.
First drink I've had since Wounded Knee.
The moment passes, and the icy cold returns to his eyes, and he reaches for the pistol. Sudden panic shows on the faces of the people around him. Like I said, leave, bitches. A sense of something terrible about to happen. Exterior Roadhouse bar parking lot night. Jesse, Tulip, and Cassidy have left the Rattler. Tulip isn't too happy. Jesse grimaces a little. Cassidy follows, enjoying their argument.
Sorry. You got a nice little ass, honey. You go back and head and keep Tulip's last $5.
Oh, no, it wasn't at all.
You don't like it here, drink some other goddamn place.
They turn. Advancing slowly on them are the little band of rednecks from the bar, just drunk enough to want to get into it. The leader is a brawny thug in a baseball cap, 6 of them in total. Cassidy steps in front of Tulip, so he's just behind and to the side of Jesse. Jesse remains cool, even polite.
I like it fine.
The leader stops about a yard from Jesse.
That ain't what you said to Mona. Called it a den of sin or some shit. I heard you.
Oh, jeez. Look, if she's your girl, relax, okay? I ain't interested. You got me all wrong.
Well, I reckon I got you just right, motherfucker.
Jesse changes in an instant. His eyes narrow. He goes icy cold. Cassidy steps up behind him, grins.
You know, I think the problem is that she isn't his girl.
You saying I'm some kind of dipshite?
I ain't calling you a truther.
Jesse is icy cold. Behind him, Cassidy's grin becomes positively predatory.
I'm saying you'd crawl over 50 good pussies to get a fat boy's ass.
Okay, the leader moves too slow. Jesse slams 2 fingers up his nostrils, twists, and rips the guy upwards. Of terrible ripping and gout of blood, the guy howls and falls. The others are so surprised Jesse is the time to step in and hook a right, left, and another right into the second guy's face. He drops like a ton of shit. A third guy reaches for Jesse, but Cassidy grabs his shoulder, smiles nastily, and headbutts him in the face. A massive, almost hollow-sounding impact. The guy's eyes bulge, and he falls. Nose spread all over his face like a burst tomato. Jesse ducks a swing from number 4, sinks a low one into the guy's stomach. The guy folds up around it, gasping. Number 5 jumps on Cassidy's back. The 6th guy dances back out of trouble. The 6th guy sneakily snaps open a switchblade and waits for his chance. Jesse holds a number 4 against a car and punches the shit out of him. Or holds number 4, yes. Cassidy flips the 5th one over his shoulder. The guy flies at least 10 yards through the air. Tulip's eyes widen as she follows the arc of his descent.
Jesus Christ.
Big crash
Oh,
as the guy...
Meeker.
Yup. Big crash as the guy smashes into the side of a pickup truck like a broken rag doll, upside down. Tulip turns back to the fight. Freaks.
Cassidy!
Yeah?
Cassidy turns right into the 6th guy's attack. He slams the switchblade clean through the plastic lens of Cassidy's shades on into the eye beyond. Cassidy steps back. Ow. I'm sorry. Physical hurt. Hand going to his eye, then coming away again. Tulip stares. Cassidy and the guy look at each other. Cassidy is calm. The handle of the blade juts from his shades lens. Blade all the way in. And I lost my spot. The guy is frozen. Beyond them, we get a glimpse of Jesse still demolishing his own victim. Cassidy reaches up, holds the shades with one hand, tugs the blade out of his eye with no discernible pain whatsoever. Blood and jelly slide from the blade, leaking down from behind his shades as well.
Hang on a second there, mate. I'll be right with you.
Pop! Out comes the blade, slathered in gore. Tulip's eyes widen further.
Right, come here.
Mirror!
Mirror.
We hear the guy scream in terror, a scream which is just as suddenly cut off.
Jesse?
Jesse quits beating on the redneck, whose face is now pulp. Jesse holds him up with one hand and turns and drops him. Jesse's jaw drops open in amazement as he stares.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Cassidy holds his would-be assailant's lifeless body up by the hair, spits out a lump of bloody meat, then lets the blood pour down his chin. The meat is from the guy's neck, which Cassidy has just bitten a hole in. Blood spurts out in long jets, pumping into the dirt.
Oh, what?
He hauls the corpse up, sinks his mouth into the wound, and starts drinking the blood as it pours out. Loud gulping noises can be heard. Tulip, still freaked. Please don't ever make that noise again. Tulip, still freaked, turns slowly to the riveted Jesse.
Say something.
Cassidy quits drinking for a second, gasps with delight.
The fuck did you do that for?
I was hungry.
So you figured you'd snack on this fella's neck? What are you, some kind of fucking vampire?
Well, I just flung a fella 20 feet through the air. I took a switchblade straight in the brain without blinking, and I tore a fella's throat open so I could drink his blood. I'd say I was pretty obviously some kind of fucking vampire, wouldn't you?
It can't be.
Hey, listen to Mr. Normal.
Utterly thrown, Jesse stares at Tulip, trying to fit this thing into his head.
For Christ's sake, he's doing it again.
He is indeed gulping away at the guy's neck.
God damn it, Cassidy, knock it off!
But Cassidy clearly likes it too much, gulping merrily away. Blood dribbles everywhere.
Just a minute.
Jesse snarls, and once again his voice echoes with his newfound power.
Knock it off!
Cassidy is amazed. He flings the corpse to the ground, furious.
For fuck's sake.
Jesse and Cassidy yell at each other, both furious, right in each other's faces.
Don't you fucking dare do that shit to me. Nobody tells me what to do, and I don't know if you've noticed, but that was shite stuck on a knife in my eye.
That don't make him a $2 Slurpee. I'd have told you to fuck yourself the minute I laid eyes on you if I'd known you were some kind of fucking abomination.
Cassidy freezes, stunned. For just a second, he looks hurt. Then his face sets in a pissed-off grimace. Jesse faces him with narrowed eyes. Neither man will give ground. Then Cassidy turns on his heel and stomps away. Tulip watches him go, then turns to Jesse, who has turned away and is angrily lighting a Marlboro. An engine starts. Tulip turns in that direction, eyes narrowing.
Jesse?
Forget it, Tulip. I don't want to talk about it.
But Jesse...
I said I don't want to...
Jesse! He's stealing my truck! Again.
So he is. The truck pulls out of the parking lot.
Shit!
He charges after the truck, but it's already racing off down the road.
Come back here, you unbelievable motherfucker. I'm gonna kick your fucking ass to death. Fuck!
He gives up, roaring hatefully.
You worthless piece of shit!
Son of a bitch! A Tulip's hand comes into the shot between us and Jesse, firing her gun. Jesse gapes. Tulip snarls with hatred, blasting away until the pistol locks dry. Jesse stares.
Bastard!
The engine noise disappears into the night, along with the echo of the gunshots.
What the fuck is this?
Man, it is what it is.
Tulip, what are you doing with this fucking thing?
I'm defending myself.
Behind them, several people are exiting the bar, drawn by the noise. Jesse and Tulip notice them.
Come on, let's get out of here. Once they get a look at your little massacre, they're going to have the cops in here in no time.
I don't know. Getting sick of running away all the goddamn time.
Well, I'm sure there'll be plenty more people to beat up later. Come on, for Christ's sake.
They melt into the night. Exterior roadhouse bar night. Cassidy's victim lies in a body bag, face still frozen in horror. A hand zips the bag shut. Two paramedics lift the body bag, carrying it towards a pair of ambulances parked in the Rattler parking lot. 3 sheriff's department cruisers are there too, blue lights slowly flashing. A small crowd watches as the paramedics load the battered rednecks into the ambulances, either on stretchers or helping them climb in. Several deputies are questioning people in the crowd. Others keep the main crowd back from the crime scene. Dinnings and Meeker are questioning the one redneck still standing, the second one Jesse hit. His face has been bandaged. He's a bit woozy.
And then the Reverend fella, he hit me so hard it felt like a goddamn truck went over me. And when I wake up a minute or two later, the ugly one's biting into Horace's neck and he's drinking his goddamn blood.
Dinnings turns away. Meeker eases the guy towards the ambulance, then joins Dinnings.
What the fuck is this, asshole night?
I know. Thing is, I showed him that photo of Reverend Custer we got, and that guy swears it's the same fella kicked his ass.
Okay, this guy swears we got Dracula on the loose.
A deputy comes over. Sheriff Meeker, sir, we just heard a 911 call came in about a half hour ago from that truck stop out by the county line, the 1010. Something about shooting, and a guy sounds kind of like Sheriff Root's cop killer.
And?
Got cut off. Meeker and Dinnings look at each other.
That's a hell of a long way from here. Okay, son, get him ready to go.
Exit the deputy.
You really taking all this seriously?
Enough to take a look. Let's go.
Exterior desert road night. Jesse and Tulip stand at the side of the road, watching the light of the cruisers and ambulances as they pull away from the distant Rattler and disappear into the night. Jesse turns, notices Tulip is shivering a bit, hugging herself. She's not exactly dressed for the cool desert night. Jesse takes his coat off, wraps it around her. She's a little startled, looks up at him. They find themselves very close for a moment. Then they move apart, both rather awkward.
You think it'd be safe to try that motel down the road? I'm ready to drop.
Guess it has been a long kind of day.
Exterior highway night. Tulip's pickup races past us. Interior Tulip's pickup night. Cassidy is driving, going hell for leather, clearly not in a very good mood.
You really know how to pick your moments, Cassidy, you stupid bollocks.
He sulks a bit. Then he looks curious, sniffing the air. He seems a bit surprised at what he smells and pulls over. Exterior highway night. The truck stops at the side of the road. Cassidy cuts the engine and sticks his head out the window. He takes a long, deep breath and freezes, amazed.
Jesus.
He starts her up again, and the truck pulls away and races off down the road. Way, way out in the distance, far from the speeding truck, a curious blood-red glow lines the horizon. It's much too red to be dawn, almost like a line of lava spilling from a fault. Exterior motel night. A crummy little collection of cabins, a neon motel sign, and a central office. Few cars parked. Interior motel room night. Jessie and Tulip enter. She is the key. It's a shitty room, everything old and worn. A bed, a TV set, a phone, a door to the bathroom. Jesse slips his collar back into place.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Jesus Christ, Jesse.
Well, I fooled him, didn't I? That boy didn't look dumb enough to jerk off with a fistful of barbed wire. He ain't gonna be calling any law.
Jesus. Tulip shrugs, sits, takes out her pistol. She ejects the clip, bangs in a new one. Then she notices Jesse watching.
Why the hell are you packing that goddamn thing anyway?
Well, you remember, hey, wait a minute.
What?
It's none of your business what I've been doing. You wouldn't say jack shit about becoming a preacher or why you dumped me or who it is that's so fucking important. I promise you'll throw your life away for them?
I was just worried for you is all.
You were. Okay, tell me about how we both fessed up then. You tell me your sorry tale and I'll tell you mine.
Jesse is caught off guard. He watches her curious. She just smiles back, interested, challenging him. Then he lowers his gaze, resigned.
Hell, why not? All this other shit down on our heads. Guess it don't make a goddamn bit of difference anyway.
Tulip smiles, pleased. Then Jesse looks up.
But you go first.
That catches her for a moment. She hesitates, then takes a deep breath.
I gotta say right up front that you're not gonna like this a bit. Okay? After I realized you weren't coming back, I kind of got myself into some trouble. I was drinking quite a bit, except I was borrowing money to do it, and well, you can just sometimes forget how much you're putting away.
Who were you borrowing from?
McAvoy?
McAvoy? That son of a bitch in Houston? That some motherfucker tried to rip us off on that Lamborghini thing. I swore I was gonna.
Yes, but I had no one else to go to, did I? So with the drinking and then, looking for you and the occasional moments of sobriety, I let the whole, thing get out of control, and McAvoy called a halt to the proceedings, wanted his money back, and I couldn't pay, so he said I had to do something for him in exchange.
Jesse is watching her very carefully now.
Christ, I don't know. I didn't have any choice. You swear there's things you would never do. You can never do. And then all of a sudden circumstances change and you find yourself doing stuff no matter how awful it is.
You were a hooker?
No, I was not a fucking hooker. Jesus Christ, Custer, I can't believe you fucking said that. The fuck do you think I am?
But Jesse is too busy getting his heart rate back to normal to answer, relieved beyond measure.
But I suppose in a way it was worse than that. Happened about a month ago in Houston.
I definitely pulled a New Yorker, and I definitely thought this said Houston Street, but it's Houston Street. Exterior night. Flashback to Tulip standing on a street corner in a shitty part of town, purse over her shoulder, nervous. She just can't relax. She turns towards us, notices something that sets her even more on edge. A black Mercedes is parked just outside a bar, which seemed to have just closed. Two scruffy suited thugs wait at the car while a third locks the door of the bar, pulls down the shutters. Also at the bar is a fat guy in a slightly better suit, clearly their boss. Tulip watches, now downright scared.
Oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna do this.
She glances down at her purse. The third guy finishes locking up and gets in the back of the car with the fat guy between him and another thug. The last one gets in front to drive. Tulip, staring terrified, takes a step forward, then another. And another. Interior car night. The driver is just about to start up when he notices Tulip coming slowly towards them. He frowns, then smiles, and turns to the guys in the back. Exterior Houston Street night. Tulip advances like a nervous mouse, not really looking at the car. Interior car night. Everyone in the car busts up laughing.
What the fuck is that supposed to be?
Looks to me like too much fucking Prozac. Hey, watch this! Exterior Houston Street night. The thug in the rear seat on the side facing Tulip leans out the window and grins at her. We can just see the thug on the other side of the fat guy leaning around to watch. Pardon me, ma'am. Tulip jumps, startled out of her daze. Oh, I'm about to say this. The words are coming out of my mouth. The thug makes a 2-inch diameter circle with his thumb and forefinger and smiles innocently. You reckon you could, get... You reckon you could get around something this wide? Get that mouth ready, because if you could, I'd like to marry you. Tulip freezes stunned. Then we hear the carload of jerks crack up laughing, and also crap up. Sure, it's fine. The Tulip's face changes to a look of total fury, and she pulls the Desert Eagle from her purse. Please shoot me first. Holy shit! And we freeze frame right there. Interior motel room night. Jessie is staring wide-eyed at Tulip, mouth shut, but she doesn't notice. She seems really irritated.
What had me so terrified was the thought of using the gun on someone. I mean, my dad was a cop. He taught me all about guns and defending myself and everything. And now here was this guy, this rival of McAvoy's, and I was just supposed to blow away. I mean, just kill him, put an end to him there in the street. And I knew I couldn't do it. I froze. And then the asshole went and gave me whatever it is you need to pull a trigger. So I thought.
Exterior Houston Street night. I keep wanting to say Houston. I'm so sorry. Then we hold on the freeze frame for an instant. Then Tulip completes the draw and fires. Interior car night. The second thug, not the one who spoke to Tulip, but the one who leant over to see better, gets his jaw blown off. Blood flies. Panic in the back of the car.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Oh my god.
The wounded guy fumbles in his lap, picks up the severed lower jaw, stares at it. It's a ghastly mess of bone, meat, and teeth. His pals stare at him. He stares at them. Oh my god! You just picked up your own mandible! Exterior Houston Street night. Tulip is frozen, smoking gun in hand, eyes bulging from her skull. She claps a hand to her mouth, looking for all the world as she'd sworn in church.
Oh!
Her POV, all four of the guys in the car staring out at her, frozen to their seats, stunned. Tulip bolts and runs down the street. Interior motel room night. Tulip looks up, anxious to change the subject.
So anyway, your turn.
I don't think so.
Okay, I know. I was just a horrible thing to do, and I know that. And I just for an instant, after being so terrified, I was sure I could really do it, and I think that's what really scares me the most.
I'm glad to hear that.
Stupid.
Tulip looks up, curious.
Because the Tulip I remember, I thought of taking someone's life, even an asshole's life, would have scared the living hell out of her.
She smiles a little, so does he. A warm moment between them. Tulip even laughs a little, then more.
Yours is gonna have to be a pretty wild fucking story to beat that.
Jessie smiles sadly.
Yeah. Well, my daddy died.
Tulip stops short, looks up at him.
And I got word that time we were in Phoenix. Nurse said on the phone he didn't have long. You were shopping, remember? I couldn't wait till we had agreed to meet. I had to just head straight for home. Got there just in time, the way it turned out. He was hurting real bad. You never met my daddy, but I swear he was the strongest man I ever knew.
He pauses. Tulip watches, concerned. This is clearly difficult for him.
But that day, lying there with that goddamn cancer eating him up, coughing and sweating, all the muscles gone from his arms, so thin his little bitty nurse could pick him up and turn him over, hair all gone, skin like chalk. That day, I looked at him and I saw that strong man had been cut down to nothing. I sat down at his bedside and I took his hand and he looked at me. And all of a sudden I could see that he hadn't changed a bit. That strength of his was still right there.
That is a little too real for me, and I hear it, preacher. Preach! He raises his head now, fiercely proud for just that moment.
Still right there in my daddy's eyes.
Tulip is genuinely affected by this, me too. Sorry for him, his voice softens again.
It was him, Tulip. He got me to become a minister, just like he'd been and his daddy before him. And I looked in those eyes of his, and I knew I had no choice but to do just like he wanted.
Couldn't you have told me?
Oh, I thought about it. I was gonna do it, and then I thought, and say what? Sorry, honey, I gotta leave you for the church. Too bad about your broken heart. Figured the best thing was to disappear out of your life. I knew it'd be hard on you, and I regret it more than anything I ever did in my life. But, oh, Jesus.
You know, if you could have told me this last night, I think I would have understood.
I didn't want you to understand. I wanted you to go on hating me, to leave me out of your life and go away and have a chance of being happy. And then, but I don't know, I'd be able to carry on doing what I had to do, no matter how shitty it was. See, I knew I caused my daddy pain with the life I was leading. He told me, he said, if you make one promise in your life that means anything, son, please let it be this one. He brought me into this world. He fed and clothed me and raised me the way he thought was just and proper. And seeing him in that bed, I knew I had one final chance to do right by him, the way he always did for me. I became a preacher for my daddy, Tulip, because it was just the right goddamn thing to do.
He looks at her, smiles sadly.
And now look, I did the right thing. I fucked up my life, and I fucked up yours even worse, and what I achieved it by I don't amount to a bucket of horse shit.
He slumps a bit. Tulip looks up, struck by a thought.
Jesse, why don't we just get the hell out of this madness right now? Just run for it. You use that power you've got to order anyone who messes with us to get out of our way, and we keep going and don't stop till we're far away from Texas.
Tulip, I like Texas. And I'm through running.
Her face falls a bit.
Sure is tempting to do what you're saying, but I can't. A thing like I got being able to make people do stuff against their will, that ain't the kind of thing you can take lightly. I mean, you see what I just did to Cassidy? That was wrong. What right have I to tell him what to do? You got the power of God, you got to use it right.
But he fucking killed that guy.
Guy tried to kill him. You telling me if some son of a bitch tried that with you, you wouldn't blow him away with that cannon you got in your purse?
Yeah, I know, but Jesus, you saw what he did. He's a fucking monster, Jesse.
Oh, hell, I'm already regretting saying that to him. Abomination. I never stood in judgment like that on a fella before.
I think you had an excuse.
Maybe so, but I can't just walk away from this now. And I'd like to think I can still face down the bad guys and find out what's been done to me without becoming some kind of all-out shitheel.
A moment passes as she sadly studies him.
Oh, Jesse, you and your goddamn pride. And that's just it, isn't it? Maybe I'm the biggest idiot in the world, or maybe I'm just a sucker for punishment, but guys who back down when trouble comes along, who eat shit all the time and learn to like it, you can find them anytime you want. But crazy, hard-headed John Wayne sons of bitches like you only come along once in a lifetime.
That surprises him a little. She moves closer, smiles, obviously about to kiss him.
You know what I think?
After everything I did to you?
She puts a finger to his lips.
I think we're stuck with each other, tough guy.
They kiss for a long time, then break off to look at each other, both smiling. Then they kiss again and slowly descend towards the bed. Bam, chicka, bam, bam. Interior Hugo's house night, the TV screen, which isn't turned on. We move slowly behind it, looking over to see Hugo and Arseface sitting on the couch watching the TV. Both have bottles of Bud. Hugo fumes quietly, bitter as hell.
So listen to her first sentence, she said.
Oh, it's so much better than I even imagined. Oh, so good. No response from Hugo. Arseface bangs on, oblivious to his dad's silent hatred.
Listen up, slightly terrified. I wish I could call along the case if you think I could be the deputy again.
Hugo's so uptight that he looks like he could crack nuts with his asshole. The bottle starts to shake in his hand.
But that's all my niggas in the back line, he needs the head.
Give Travis an award now. The phone rings. Barely a squeak comes from it before Hugo snatches it up.
Hugo Root here.
Interior Meeker's car, night. Meeker is driving, talking on the radio. Dinnings sits beside him.
It's Meeker, Hugo. I ain't interrupting anything, am I?
Dinnings cracks up. Meeker just smiles.
Meeker, you ain't interrupting fucking shit. You make a call to Washington like I told you. Top of my list, Hugo. Top of my list. Listen, we had word of a shooting out in the 1010. From the sound of things, your perp from the roadblock just might be involved. The preacher? Uh-huh. Oh, the other one. The, gunfighter, I think you described him. But we did get a positive ID on Reverend Custard earlier on tonight. Anyhow, me and Detective Dinnings are on our way out to the 1010 right now. Thought you might want to join us.
Interior Hugo's house, night. Hugo is still on the phone, grim. Over his shoulder, we can see Arseface, watching and listening, fascinated.
Damn right I do. But what about that preacher? He's the son of a bitch disarmed us and left us at the other bastard's mercy in the first place. Oh, you don't? Well, you go ahead and rush right on over to the 1010. I'm going to stop by the Radler and do some real investigating. I keep telling you there's more to this shit than you think, and Custer's the key to it all. Because it's fucking obvious, that's why. And you know, too, if you weren't sitting there sneering at me with that dipshit Dinnings. I can hear him there laughing at me. You tell him, fuck you. Then fuck you too, Meeker. I'm gonna find Custer and blow this whole fucking thing wide open. I'm gonna have them fucks up in Washington, good and tight by their John Thursdays, and you know what you're gonna have? Dick.
And now I've pulled a Travis. He slams down the phone. Arseface creeps out towards us, unnoticed by Hugo. Exterior Hugo Root's house, night. Hugo exits the house, slamming the door behind him. He shoves his hat on, buckles on his gun belt, and stomps angrily towards his car. Interior Hugo's car, night. Hugo gets in.
Oh, fuck you, Meeker.
Angie, is it bad that I just love hearing you swear? Because I feel like that's not really in your vocabulary normally. Anyway, he starts her up.
I'll show you some goddamn law enforcement.
Exterior Hugo's house, night. The car speeds away. The rear lights fade into the night. Then, from the gloom at the side of the house, Arseface pedals out on a BMX bicycle that's really far too small for him. Legs pumping furiously, he races off after Hugo as fast as he can. Interior motel bathroom, night. Jesse and Tulip lie in bed, both apparently asleep. Their clothes lie all over the place, just a sheet over them. Jesse opens his eyes, dozy for a second, then he turns to Tulip, studies her for a long moment. He gets out of bed and creeps to the bathroom. Interior motel bathroom, night. A small, cramped room with a dim light. Letting the sink fill with water, Jesse dozily watches himself in the little mirror above the sink.
Nice going, Custer. Think of anything else you can do to complicate things even more? You be sure and let me know.
Still muted. My bad. He leans down, splashes water on his face. He stands straight again, freezes. The image in the mirror is now one of roaring, blazing flames. Weird thing is, the light from them is trapped within the mirror, doesn't illuminate the bathroom at all. Interior motel room, night. Tulip wakes up, dozy, then registers Jesse's not beside her. She sits up, wary.
Jesse?
Get it! Interior motel bathroom, night. Jesse stares, face twisted, completely bewildered. Interior mirror vision. The flames blaze away. They seem to go on forever. Nothing else is visible. Then, centered in shot, we see a small black object silhouetted against the fire. Moving closer, we realize that it's two figures locked together, having very violent sex. All right. One is an angelic male, just like the one whose face we glimpsed when Jesse was possessed by Genesis. He has vast white wings, golden hair, big muscles, and no clothes. That's how I like my men, apparently. He holds his partner by the throat, roaring in agony and anger. There is this same demon female we saw during Jesse's possession. Huge curved hands, cloved hooves, shiny jet black body, clawed hands, and big fangs. I have to be the angel person now? Great. Okay, perfect. I'm in that headspace. She has her legs wrapped around the angel's waist as they hump away like crazy. She tears her claws down his back. It's Alanis Morissette called. She wants her fucking vibe back. Spraying blood across his wings and bites chunks of flesh from his chest. Interior motel bathroom night. Jesse continues to stare, jaws suddenly dropping at what he sees. Well, at least you don't lose your mandible. Anyway, interior mirror vision. The two figures still locked together soar upwards until they're high over the flames, both screaming in ecstasy now. The fires are far below them and then disappear from view as they emerge into beautiful skyscape of rolling white and silver clouds and sparkling sunlight. The angel and demon become more gentle, holding each other. Aw, we like to cuddle, looking into each other's eyes. Interior hotel bathroom, night. Motel bathroom, sorry. The door opens and Tulip comes in, puzzled, holding a sheet around her. Jesse continues to stare into the mirror, riveted. Well, I wish that I had Jesse's girl. No, it's okay.
I was waylaid by a furry pest in this room. Jesse?
Copy that. She moves beside him, looks past him. All she sees are their reflections. She looks curiously at Jesse, who's still gaping into the mirror in disbelief, face twisted.
Yeah, well, you certainly are hideous. I'm surprised your mom didn't sell you to the circus, Jesse.
Well,
are you okay? What the hell are you staring in the mirror for? Get out!
looked to me kind of like an angel of the Lord and a demon from hell. Fucking.
There's an even longer pause while Tulip takes a hard look in the mirror.
I see.
No, wait a minute, goddammit. I saw them already tonight. Both of them. And I saw them when that fucking thing hit me in the church just before everybody got fried. I'm telling you, Tulip, I saw their faces.
But what does that have to do with angels and demons?
I don't know. But it's showing them to me. It wants me to know what they did. It gave me this power. This gunfighters after me because of it. And now this.
And they really were doing it?
Oh, they were fucking each other's brains out.
Well, look, this thing that I don't know possessed you, for what of a better word. If it's showing you them doing that, and all you saw them, and you saw them when it hit you in the church, well, that's the thing in your head is
their child?
They stare at each other for a moment, amazed. Then Jesse turns away, wary, thinking hard. What? Anyway, exterior truck stop bar night. Cassidy exits Tulip's truck and walks quickly towards the door of the 1010. He sniffs the air again. His face lights up and he heads on in. Yep, I can't wait. Dim light from within, but no noise or sign of movement. Interior truck stop bar night. Cassidy freezes as he enters, face suddenly twisting in disbelief. The scene that greets him in the low light of the bar is a nightmare. 24 bodies lie on the floor of the bar in a vast lake of dark red blood. All bear the massive gaping wounds that the saints' guns deliver. Severed arms lie here and there. A couple of bodies are actually headless. Gore is splattered across the walls. Basically, it's probably Quentin Tarantino's wet dream. Tables have been knocked over. A sense of panic rushed towards the rear of the room, which no one quite managed to reach.
I knew what you were the first time I laid eyes on you, boy.
Cassidy turns, sees the saint standing in the gloom by the bar, looking grimly back at him. Cassidy is instantly scared. Can't help but show it.
And I knew a bloodsucker like you would come running if I was to set the table for you. That thing inside the preacher, That'll draw scum like you from miles around. That urge you got to take a look at Texas? Weren't you wondering where that came from?
Cassidy is startled, realizing the Saint's right.
Now, I reckon we can make it work the other way around. I reckon you can give that preacher a call. He'll come a-running.
Cassidy's eyes narrow slowly. He gets angry. He points slowly to the carnage on the floor further back.
You killed him to get him here?
To get you here. And the Saint just looked back at him.
You fucking dirty bastard. Do you think I want any part of this? Do you think I'll sell out Jesse Custer to a piece of shit like you? Do you think I'm some kind of worthless fucking animal or something?
That's exactly what I think.
Cassidy loses it, strides towards the Saint, drawing a fist back to strike, but the Saint pulls his pistol fast as lightning and shoves it in Cassidy's face. Cassidy freezes, gritting his teeth.
Is that supposed to scare me or something? Because believe me, it wouldn't be the first time I got shot through the head.
It'll be the first time you didn't get up again. Saint of Killers is what they call me, boy. That name mean anything to you?
Cassidy's sweating now, really scared. Clearly, he's heard the name.
I thought it might. Fella don't get as old as you have without hearing my name whispered. I left this world in 1886, went to hell for all the lives I'd taken. When I got there, I just went right on killing. Hell's supposed to knock the hate from a sinner's soul, but all it did for mine was burn it blacker. I butchered my way across perdition and damn near emptied it of all the souls, except for the Lord himself came down, begged for me to stop, even offered me a job, wanted me to take over from the goddamn angel of death, who it turned out had no stomach for an eternity of killing.
Work, cast a bitch. He presses the gun into Cassidy's chin, tilts his head back. Cassidy is shitting himself, too terrified to move.
But I did. So the angel of death gave up a sword, forged me this pair of Colt revolvers from steel. You know who I am, boy. You know you want to take the risk of this gun work on you?
He cocks the pistol. Cassidy freezes. A long moment passes. Then Cassidy crumples, breaking down.
No.
The Saint keeps his pistol on him, nods at a phone on the bar. Cassidy shakily backs towards it, never taking his eyes off the pistol. He picks it up, sweats.
There was a motel just down the road from here where I left him. He didn't have any transport, okay? So if I get the number for the motel...
Another shove from the Saint, pistol to the nose. Cassidy is utterly miserable, wretched. Interior motel room night, Jesse and Tulip are halfway through getting dressed when the phone rings. They look at it, then at each other, nonplussed. Jesse picks up the phone, wary.
Yeah?
Interior truck stop bar night, Cassidy on the phone, terrified with the Saint's pistol stuck right up in his face.
Jesse, fuck, Jesse, it's me.
Cassidy?
Interior motel room night, neither Jesse nor Tulip can believe it.
What the fuck are you...
Jesse, listen, I've got a message. I had to give you... I haven't got any choice.
Interior truck stop bar night, the Saint pushes his gun right into Cassidy's face, twisting it weirdly. He freezes, then goes on.
You have to go back to Anvil. You'll get all the answers you're looking for there.
The Saint relaxes, takes his gun off Cassidy, who freaks a little and seizes his chance.
Jesse, it's a trap. Don't fucking go. It's that guy. It's the fucking Saint of Killers.
Interior motel room night, it's a trap! Jesse grimaces as a massive bang sounds on the line. He turns to look at Tulip, both of them pretty freaked out. Interior truck stop bar night, Cassidy lies on the floor, staring up at the ceiling, amazed. Slowly he raises his head, looks down at his body. A massive hole has been blasted in his gut. Blood pouring from it to pool around him. A shadow falls over him. It's the Saint, of course, holding his smoking pistol.
Hey. He won't come back now, you bastard. You're fucked.
He'll come. He's burning up, wanting to know what it is that's happened to him. Don't you get any high ideas about having him saved, boy. You sold him out.
Cassidy's face falls, miserable. The Saint cocks his pistol, points it right down at us.
You're just an animal, thinks it's a man.
No.
That is epic. The pistol roars and the screen goes black. Exterior motel cabin, night. Jesse exits, tucking his shirt in. Grim sense of resolve. Tulip hurries after him, wary.
Saint of the killers, there's only one guy that can be.
Uh-huh.
And you're still going to Anvil?
Uh-huh.
Anvil?
He stops at a... It's your town, Anne. He just stopped. He stops at a battered pickup, reaches through the half-open window to unlock the door, flips down the sunshade, catches the keys as they fall.
Nice to see folks ain't getting any smarter.
I'm coming with you.
What? Hold on there, honey.
Hold on, hell. I held on for 3 fucking years, wondering where you'd gone and why you didn't love me anymore. Now you never stop. I'm not gonna waste a single second I've got with you. I'm with you all the way, Custer. Till the end of the world.
God damn, girl. That might just be where we're headed.
Yes. Exterior Roadhouse bar, night. The Rattler has long since closed up, all lights off. Hugo Root prowls the parking lot, scowling at the bar, the ground, the desert, as if giving the world the dirty look, he'll get the answer. He gives the world a dirty look, he'll get the answers he wants. Funny how I can read that sentence not looking at the script when I have it right in front of me. Anyway, his cruiser is parked nearby. He rubs at some dried blood on the ground with the toe of his boot, then glares off shot, attention caught. Looking past him, we see the motel sign way off down the road.
Well, game's a fucking foot.
No shit, Sherlock. Interior motel office night, a dingy little office with a dumb-looking night clerk immersed in a porno mag, the latest issue of Anal Rampage? Judging by his intense concentration, the big words are giving him trouble. He looks slowly up as Hugo strikes in.
You there, nose pick. Seen anyone looking kind of unusual coming in here?
Well, what do you mean by unusual?
I mean, not normal, you asshole. Different.
Well, could you maybe be more specific?
What is it with you? You got so many colorful folks staying in here, you need me to narrow it down?
If you could.
I swear you must have leaked out of a hole in a goddamn prophylactic. Specifically, I'm looking for an ugly fella wearing sunglasses, a stringy bean-poled son of a bitch, and an asshole dressed up like a preacher. Ring any fucking bells?
As a matter of fact, it does. Mr. and Mrs. Smith checked in here about 2 hours back. Except when they left, Mr. Smith had a reverend's collar on, and I guess Mrs. Smith was kind of on the skinny side.
Fucked if it ain't all them. When they check out, they say they're where they were headed.
You just missed them. What was that other question?
Did they say where they were going?
I heard some in Anvil. You know, that's been on TV all day. They in a lot of trouble then. The Smiths?
Well, Smith ain't their real name, you fucking mongoloid.
Hey, I know who you are. You're Sheriff Root. With the son's got a face like a puckered up asshole. Jesus, living with a freak like that maybe be one long English fucking nightmare.
So many accents, Travis, how? Hugo turns and smashes him across the face, KOing him instantly. That means knocked out. He goes down like a heap. Jesus.
I'm Sheriff Hugo Root, the man who took down the renegade preacher and shot a worthless by the Jesus cop killer full of fucking holes and blew open a goddamn Washington conspiracy so big it makes Watergate look like a damn blood fart. You will hear my name again, you worthless son of a bitch.
I can't wait to use damp blood fart as my next insult for anybody. He turns and stomps out. Interior Meeker's car night. Meeker and Dinnings freeze as they hear.
This here is Hugo Route. All units in the vicinity to converge on Anvil. I repeat, all units, make your way to Anvil immediately. This thing is going down, and that's the town it's going to happen in. Get me tactile, abandon the roadblocks, get everybody in, and get them over there. Now! Shit.
Exterior desert road night. The cruiser skids through a 180, then roars off in the direction it came from. Interior Hugo's car night. Hugo hangs up the radio, glares out over the wheel at the night beyond, full of curdling, evil hatred, a man anticipating his chance to wreak cruel, violent revenge on the world. Interior stolen truck night. Tulip checks her pistol, then puts it back into her purse. She turns to look warily at Jesse. He sits well back, eyes locked on the road. Whatever else he's feeling, he isn't scared. In exterior stolen truck night, the truck races on down the road till all we see are its taillights. Exterior desert night. At first, all we see is pitch black night. Then the saint strides out of it, cold as ice. And now I've had Foreigner stuck in my head. It's a whole musical episode for Jen. He passes us without a glance, and we're left with nothing but night again. Exterior truck stop bar night. Silence. The 1010 sign flickers, then goes out. Interior truck stop bar night. Cassidy lies on the floor, shattered. And now Natalie Imbruglia's Torn is playing in my head. Apparently dead. The hole in his guts has been matched with by another in his chest. A meaty crater with blood, gore, and bits of rib hanging out, right where his heart used to be, mouth wide open. And now Creed. Literally, we move closer until his face fills the shot. No movement, then very slowly his jaw shifts a little.
Huh?
He grits his teeth as he realizes what's up.
Oh no. I'm sorry, Jesse, I just didn't have the balls, and there's nothing I can do.
His head slumps to the side, beaten. We look at him past the edge of the vast lake of blood from the saint's earlier victims. It's gotten pretty dark and gooey now. He notices it, face slowly twisting as he thinks.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fucking Jesus.
He stares at the ceiling again, miserable, a little revolted.
Why me?
Steeling himself for the effort, he grits his teeth and rolls slowly over onto his belly, grabbing for purchase with a very weak arm. He yells in agony. Oh, Travis, I thought you were going to yell. I paused for it.
Oh, the pain.
There we go. Perfect. Then, gasping and sweating with the pain and exertion, he raises his head to look at the lake of gore and shattered bodies, and we fade to black. We fade back on a smear of ribs, guts, and blood on the floor of the bar. We move along it as it becomes a trail, ending in Cassidy. He's hauled himself along the floor and is now lapping hungrily at the lake of blood on the floor. He raises his head, dribbles gooey blood everywhere that looks like mom's spaghetti, vomit on his sweater already, looks weakly at the various bodies. He's gasping.
Sorry, folks.
Cassidy goes back to slurping up the blood, panting as he tries to breathe and drink at the same time. He gets more and more frenzied, guzzling the stuff faster and faster until he throws his head back and gasps out a long sigh of satisfaction. Smeared with dark red blood, hair matted with it, he looks like hell. He gets slowly to his feet, staggers a bit, catches himself on the bar. He wipes his mouth, still out of breath.
Better than fucking spinach.
Come on, Popeye! And then he turns and staggers towards the door, shaky, nowhere near at full strength. Exterior Anvil Street night, a flurry of activity. Cruisers are arriving from all over, lights flashing. Cops, deputies, state troopers, even SWAT guys run to and fro, taking cover behind cars, houses, anywhere they can find. Citizens are bundled from their homes, escorted to safety behind various buildings. Much prepping of weapons. Anvil is being turned into a giant trap.
All civilians are to be evacuated. I repeat, evacuated to a place of safety. Please go with the officers, folks. We're expecting some bad guys here tonight, and we don't want you people getting hurt in the shooting.
A harassed-looking sheriff stands behind a cruiser that's been parked across the middle of the street. Deputies aim M16s across the hood and trunk. Really? Come on, M16s. The third deputy confers with the sheriff. All around them, the preparations continue.
Come on now, shake the lead out. Don't know how much time we got, but let's make sure we're ready for these sons of bitches. What?
Still can't raise Hugo Root, boss.
God damn, where the hell is he? He started this goddamn thing. We can show up and tell us who the hell to shoot at.
Interior Meeker's car night. Meeker is on the radio, pissed off. Dinnings looks skeptical.
But where the hell is he then?
Sheriff, it's not responding, Sheriff Meeker. We think he's gone off the air.
Meeker angrily dumps the radio on the floor.
Gone off the air? That crazy fucker's gone off the goddamn planet. This is exactly the bloodbath he's been waiting for. This is his revenge on the rest of us for having normal lives.
What do you mean?
The fucking Hugo. I swear, just because he's got a son that looks like Frankenstein and a 2-inch pecker, he's got to take it on the whole goddamn world.
A 2-inch.
I used to fuck his wife.
Oh, okay. Exterior Anvil Main Street night. Quieter now. The lawmen have taken up positions behind their cars in the storefronts along the tops of the building. Nearly 50 guys, lots of firepower. Apparently they're packing, but that guy that they were talking about just now wasn't. Anyway, the sheriff and 3 deputies still wait behind the car in the middle of the street. The sheriff has a pistol in one hand, the bullhorn in the other.
Nothing. And still no sign of Hugo.
Looking past them, we can see right down the main street and out into the desert night beyond. Pretty quiet, but very tense.
Shit. Hand me out that goddamn radio.
Sir, I think we got something. Exterior Anvil Main Street night. Sudden agitation among the cops as they cock their guns, get ready to open up. All very tense. The sheriff's eyes narrow, amazed.
Jesus Christ.
The Saint enters town. Come on, welcome to the stage, Saint first. Walking up in the middle of Main Street. He doesn't even bother to look at the cops. The sheriff snaps out of it. Snap out of it! Grabs the bullhorn. The deputy beside him is shaky as hell. Who the fuck is that?
That's the son of a bitch off of the APB, the fucking cop killer. Hold it right there, you asshole. We're gonna give you one chance to give yourself up.
The Saint draws and fires once, fast as lightning, still moving coolly ahead. No emotion. The bullet smashes into the side of the sheriff's car, blowing a hole in the pan just above the gas tank.
Fuck.
Barely an instant later, the car explodes in a flaring blast. Come on, Elsa. Literally, there's so many musical references in this script. I love it. The bodywork separating and flying high into the air, the wheels shooting out to the side. The lawmen disappear in the explosion. Then there's a dull thud as half the sheriff's blackened torso and head land in the dirt. That does it. All the cops in town open fire at once. Exterior Anvil night, Hugo's cruiser skids to a stop, the fireball from the exploding car in town reflected in its windscreen. Multiple gunshots are heard. Hugo exits the car, staring at us, freaked. Exterior Anvil Main Street night, the cops are giving it maximum effort. Revolvers, automatics, M16s, scope rifles, shotguns, even a few SMGs from the SWAT boys brought along. We move along the street from group to group, deputies behind cars, marksmen on the rooftops. Dozens and dozens of shell casings rain down on the street. Most of this actually misses the Saint, plowing up the ground in front of him, kicking dust high into the air. Enough is hitting him to stagger him, knock him back. At one point, he almost disappears in gun smoke. Then he brings both pistols up and fires. One of the SWAT's marksmen is hit, his head exploding all over his startled comrades. The second bullet plows into a shotgun held by a deputy, and the weapon shells detonate, blowing the gun apart in his hands. He and the 4 guys around him are shredded by buckshot. Very, very messy. The cops pause for a second, staring. The Saint, of course, is still standing. Come on, Elton John. He waits for a moment and then fires again. One cop is flung backwards off a rooftop, great arc of blood flying up. Another is smashed through the storefront window in a spray of shattered glass. Several cops resume firing, but most can only stare. The Saint is hit repeatedly even as he returns fire. More cops fire back at him, but several more break and run like hell. One deputy cowers in a cruiser, squealing onto the radio. He winces as another guy's bloody corpse is smashed against the car. Jesus Christ! Sheriff Root, please respond. Sheriff Root, we have your suspect in sight. He's fucking killing every one of us. A gunshot. Then the window beside him shatters, and the windows nearer us are instantly painted dark red with blood. The car rocks on its suspension. The Saint continues his advance, now a bit ragged, missing chunks of meat from his chest, holes in his hat and clothes, but still just grim. Unworried, he ceases fire, then points one gun off to the side without bothering to look. He's level with the town gas station, level with one of the pumps. He fires. The bullet smacks into one of the pumps. Several cops stare in amazement, riveted. He cocks the gun, fires again, still not stopping, still not aiming, walking right at us. The bullet sparks against the pump, igniting the rushing gasoline. He cocks the gun again. The cops gape. A couple run, but most of them are transfixed. Come on, rubberneckin'. The Saint's eyes are full of hate, total commitment, not wavering for an instant, the gun in his hand firing. The pump explodes, pull way back, as seconds later the whole gas station goes up too. A vast flaring explosion of burning fuel. The Saint is glimpsed for a moment, then the explosion reaches out and he disappears into the flames. The cops stare, faces lit by the flames. They start to break and run. Behind them, the fireball rises higher, white and orange, flaring, blazing fire begins to rain down on the running cops. Shouts and screams. The buildings are hit too, catching fire. Several cops run around the fire, run around on fire. Oh, okay, screaming in horror, dying in agony. Ouch. The Saint appears out of the fire, silhouette at first. He's one fire himself, back and shoulders burning. He resumes firing, cutting down cops as they run. He walks right towards us, and we can see that his expression is still unchanged, as if nothing had happened. Exterior Anvil night, the battered pickup pulls out, and Jesse and Tulip exit, gaping at the burning town. Distant screams and gunshot can be made out.
You think it's him?
It's his MO.
View from behind them with Anvil burning away. Then we move in fast on Jesse. At the last second, he starts to turn and is smashed in the head with a .45 automatic. He grunts and drops like a stone. It's Hugo.
Say hello to justice, you God-fearing fuck.
Such a perfect line. Good casting. Tulip freaks and goes for her pistol, but only has it halfway out of her purse when Hugo leans across the top of the truck and points the gun in her face.
Go and take it out of there, whore. Put it on the truck and back away. Slowly.
She complies, very wary, totally aware of the delicacy of her situation.
That's a good little beeve.
No! Oh, so well written, but fucking hell. He knocks her pistol off the truck on his side. His face twists. Mean.
Looks like I got me one of these weird fucking by the Jesus FBI cocksuckers. Reckon I'll take a walk into town and fetch the other one. But first, I want you in irons, you scrawny little bitch.
Fuck you.
Hugo is about to move for her when Jesse raises his head, gritting his teeth, the cut on his temple bleeding nastily. Hugo notices.
Son of a bitch.
God damn.
He puts his boot on Jesse's head and stomps him face first into the dirt. Jesse grunts. Lie still.
You just lay there, boy. Don't want you giving any more crazy fucking orders.
He turns back to Tulip, only to find she's gone.
Shit.
He searches the area, peering into the night, then relaxes. Sorry, excuse me. He searches the area, peering into the night, then relaxes. Tulip is running hell for leather towards Anvil, unfortunately silhouetted against the flames. Hugo smiles nastily and takes careful aim.
Should have done like Daddy told you, cunt.
I was waiting for the see you next Tuesday word to show up. Yep, he suddenly screams in agony, a high-pitched shriek, and the gun goes off into the sky with a huge bang, then he drops it. Jesse, still on the ground, is grimacing hatefully and clutching Hugo by the balls, squeezing for all he's worth. Hugo keeps screaming. Exterior Anvil, Main Street, night. Tulip reaches the outskirts of town, still a bit freaked out, trying to catch her breath after her mad dash to get away from Hugo. She turns the corner into the main street to be greeted by a scene of blazing destruction. The buildings are on fire, the street is littered with corpses, her eyes narrow as she peers into the distance. Down the other end of the street, we can just make out the Saint, finishing off the last of the cops. One guy falls to his knees. The Saint puts his pistol to the guy's head. Tulip's eyes widen. The gun roars and the guy falls back dead, all in silhouette. Tulip dodges back around the corner, flattens herself against the wall, freaked.
Christ.
Exterior anvil night. Hugo is flipped right round on the end of Jesse's right hook. Grunts in pain. A bad beating follows. Jesse punches Hugo 5 times in the face to knock him back, once in the gut to bend him over, knees him in the face to snap his head back, and then hooks a hard left into his chin to send him flying back against the truck. All this in slightly over 10 seconds. Good job. Exterior anvil Main Street night. Tulip grimaces as more gunshots sound from offshot. She risks a peek around the corner again. No sign of the Saint, just the fire and the scattered bodies. Her eyes narrow. Lots of guns on the street too, holstered or otherwise. Tulip hesitates, then steels herself and scurries out onto the street. Exterior anvil night. Hugo's pulped face comes through the truck window at us in a spray of broken glass. Jesse hauls him back out again, snarls hatefully into his face. Hugo barely knows what planet he's on.
You watch your goddamn mouth when you talk about her.
Exterior anvil Main Street night. Lit by the flickering flames, Tulip moves from body to body collecting guns. She stuffs 2 automatics down the back of her jeans, shoves a revolver into her jacket, another automatic in the front of her jeans. She's just picking up a gleaming silver .357 Magnum when she stops, realizing that the shooting and screaming has stopped. All she can hear are the flames. She looks up. The Saint stands watching her, pistols holstered, emotionless, maybe 20 feet away. Exterior anvil night. Hugo is still conscious just about, spitting blood, gasping hate. Jesse holds him up by the collar.
I know what you are, you son of a bitch. You're a goddamn Washington secret fucking weapon. They grew you in some kind of genetic by the Jesus laboratory.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Behind his back, Hugo's hand fumbles in his belt, pulls something out. His face twists, hateful.
You little bastard.
Sorry, my door is open and I apparently am hearing an argument that my dad's having. Anyway, a switchblade snaps open in Hugo's hand.
I got your ass.
Jesse's face goes dangerously cold. His eyes slowly narrow.
Fuck yourself.
Hugo's eyes bulge in horror and terror. Exterior anvil night. Tulip stands facing the Saint. He hasn't moved yet. The last gun she picked up is not immediately visible. The Saint watches her, calm. Tulip's eyes are wide. She clamps her mouth shut and fights panic.
You're the preacher's woman, ain't you? I guess that means he made the party. You call him on in here and we'll have an end to this.
What are you going to do to him?
What I do.
Tulip freezes, then the fear leaves her face. Cold fury takes over. She brings the .357 up at us. Fires. The bullet smashes into the Saint's eyeball, which bursts in a spray of blood and jelly. He clamps a hand to it, staggers round, and roars a hateful yell of fury and pain. Exterior anvil night. Jesse runs like hell for anvil, anxious.
Tulip! Jesus fucking Christ, Tulip!
Then more gunshots sound from the town. Jesse doubles his pace. Exterior anvil Main Street night. Tulip advances on the Saint, blasting away with revolver and automatic. The .357 now discarded. He's bent over, staggering along the street, hands to his face. Blood pours out between the fingers. Each bullet knocks him a step further, and Tulip is really pouring it on. A wild scene, lit by the fires, the diminutive girl shooting the hell out of the giant gunfighter. The guns in her hands click as they run out. She drops them and smoothly pulls the 2 automatics from the back of her jeans, resumes firing. The Saint's hat flies off. Bullets smack into his head and shoulders. Tulip's face is set, scared but refusing to panic. Total determination. She keeps firing. The Saint goes down on one knee, struck repeatedly in the head. He holds one hand up as if to stop her. A bullet punches through it. One hand still over his eye, he roars again. Tulip keeps firing, grits her teeth. The Saint is holding himself up with his ruined hand. Tulip keeps firing. There's a click as one of the guns locks dry. She drops it, takes careful aim with the other, fires. The Saint starts to crumple. Tulip fires again. The Saint falls. The gun locks dry with a loud click. The Saint catches himself. Horrified, Tulip lowers the useless gun. The Saint takes a moment, breathes deep. Then he slowly rises from the half crouch she forced him into, turns to face her. Tulip can only stare, petrified. The saint takes the hand away from his face, revealing the butchered, dripping, empty eye socket. Tulip is ready to faint. Me too, girl. The saint grimaces, then roars again.
Preacher!
Jesse charges round the corner into the main street and stops dead, staring in horror. The saint has one of his pistols pressed against Tulip's head. His lip curls surly. Tulip is frozen. Both are looking at Jesse. He freaks.
Tulip.
Not one more word or she goes to meet the Maker. You're a dead man, but she can still get out of this alive.
Jesse clamps his mouth shut.
Now you come on in here, preacher.
Jesse, don't get out of here. Run!
Jesse walks forward till he's about 10 feet from the saint.
Never again, baby.
She stares at him horrified. The saint turns the gun on Jesse, takes aim. Tulip freaks.
You can't just kill him. You said you could find the answers here. He's got to right to know what the hell it is that happened to him.
The saint looks at her, thoughtful. Then his expression hardens, and he looks at Jesse again. Jesse returns his glare, unafraid.
I ain't got no answers. I don't know why he's the one that's got to die. I don't know why that damn thing chose him out of all the millions that it could have. The ones who sent me, they're the ones who know. You want answers, preacher? Ask the angels. All I got is this.
It's fair. I love him, and you're just gonna shoot him in the street. You rotten son of a bitch. You've got a fucking gun.
The saint's eyes narrow, mildly irritated.
Come to that. He has his goddamn power. He could have told me to blow my own head off, or just keep walking till I reach the moon, or anything he damn well pleased. Just so happened I was quicker.
Jesse thinks hard. The saint glares back at him, a challenging look, like, well? Jesse comes to a decision, nods slowly, then keeping his eyes locked on the saint's, he takes his jacket off, loosens his collar. Tulip's eyes pop. The saint nods, grim.
Makes no odds to me how you die, boy. But you got some sand, I will say that.
For Christ's sake.
Jesse glances sadly at her, then rolls up his sleeves.
Know this, preacher. I see your lips twitch. I hear one single syllable out of a single word. We're going to find out if you can talk faster than I can pull the pistol.
The saint nods to Tulip.
And I guarantee you'll go to hell knowing she's here left with me.
Jesse nods again, spits on his hands, grimaces angrily, and wades right on in. Interior Meeker's car, night. Meeker peers into the rear view, squinting.
How far to Anvil?
5 minutes at most. Who the hell was that?
A pair of headlights fill the rear view with flaring light. Exterior desert road, night. Tulip's pickup comes roaring up behind the cruiser, weaving to overtake. Interior Tulip's pickup, night. Cassidy spits blood, snarls angrily as he drives. He drips blood everywhere, very pale.
Get out of the fucking way, you bollocks.
Interior Meeker's cruiser, night. Meeker snarls as the pickup draws alongside. He weaves to block its path.
Crazy son of a bitch.
They get a glimpse of Cassidy yelling angrily at them, gesturing for them to clear the way.
Wants us to let him through.
Fuck him. Pull over, you asshole. Pull over now.
Interior Tulip's pickup, night. Cassidy sneers, jerks the wheel hard over. Exterior desert road, night. The pickup smashes hard into the cruiser, knocking it clean off the road. It spins a couple of times, careers onwards. Interior Meeker's cruiser, night. Dinnings hangs on for dear life as Meeker struggles desperately to regain control of the cruiser. Exterior desert, night. The cruiser crashes into a creek bed, turning on its side as it slides along, then smashing into a rocky outcrop and stopping. The wheels spin, the engine howls, then silence.
Guess this is one. I guess this one's all Hugo's.
He fucking deserves it.
Interior Tulip's pickup, night.
Hold on, Jesse, the cavalry's coming.
Exterior Desert Road night. The pickup races on down the road. Ease on down the road. That's me making the reference that time. Anyway, exterior Anvil Main Street night. Jesse crashes to the ground with sickening force. The Saint, who just hit him, is standing a good 20 feet away. Tulip watches, horrified. Jesse gets to his feet as his opponent advances, just in time to punch the Saint in the jaw. No effect. Another one. No effect. A fast combination. Right, left, right to the guts, left to the guts, haymaker across the face. No effect. The Saint backhands him across the face, smashes him against a burning police cruiser. Jesse staggers, spits blood, and stays on his feet. They face each other for a moment. Jesse hateful and defiant, the Saint just grim. The Saint comes at him again. Jesse gets in a couple of useless punches. Then dodges just in time, and the Saint punches his fist through the cruiser's roof. Jesse karate chops him in the throat, rolls backwards across the car's hood, kicking the Saint in the face as he goes. Saint is actually staggering a bit. Jesse lands on his feet, weaves in again. He runs right into the Saint's hand, which clamps down on his hair, yanking his head back. The Saint then hauls him right rough and sends him flying through a picket fence, shattering the boards. Jesse crawls in the wreckage of the fence, trying to get it together. Get it together, bitch. The Saint is coming up from behind.
Jesse!
Just as the Saint bends down to seize hold of him, Jesse whips around and bashes the bastard across the face with a length of 2x4 from the fence. The Saint stands upright. Jesse squints up at him. The Saint stands with the board hanging bizarrely from his cheek with no visible means of support for it. It's just there. Totally unperturbed, he takes hold of the board with no more effort than if he were brushing off a fly. He looks right at us. Jesse stares, grimacing. The Saint pulls the board away from his face, and we see now what was holding it there. 2 4-inch nails. 9-inch nails? And now oozing red blood as they leave the wound. Still cool as you like. The Saint drops the board to the side.
Kinda different.
Then his face darkens and he seizes Jesse, hauls him up, and starts slapping the shit out of him. Jesse takes about 6 backhanders, spits blood all over the place. The Saint flings him backwards and he crashes to the ground, a wreck. He lies still for a moment. Tulip's face falls, distraught. This looks like it. This look like it's it? Yeah? Right? She thinks he's gonna die. Okay, great, cool. Interpreting script as reading. The Saint sneers a little, pulls his coat back from his holster, and prepares to draw. Then Jesse gets up very slowly, spits out a tooth, faces the Saint, smiles darkly. Even the Saint is a bit surprised, but only for a second. Then his face darkens again, and they close for more. Tulip is amazed, then remembers.
Go for his eyes.
Jesse ducks a huge haymaker, then stabs upwards with middle and index fingers, jams them right into the Saint's gory, ruined eye socket. The Saint roars in agony, thrashes wildly, but Jesse keeps the fingers in there and twists and grinds like mad, putting all the strength he's got into it. The Saint, furious, grabs Jesse's arm and slowly pulls the fingers from his eye. Jesse strains like mad, but the Saint is too strong. Then the Saint decks him with a horribly hard right, and Jesse hits the ground unconscious. Silent for a minute. Tulip is so appalled that she looks ready to be sick. The Saint looks down at Jesse. Then he begins drawing his gun.
Wasn't worth it, boy. Never would have made a goddamn bit of difference.
Suddenly, the little tableau is flooded with light. The Saint turns to see a pair of headlights bearing down upon him. It turns out to be a rapidly closing pickup truck. Engine roaring, the Saint's eyes narrow. Tulip stares. Jesse raises his head to look, bewildered. Interior of Tulip's pickup truck night. Cassidy braces himself, grits his teeth, furious. Travis.
You.
Thank you. Exterior Anvil Main Street night. Harshly lit by the headlights, the Saint grimaces angrily, plants his feet hard on the ground, throws his shoulders back, and braces himself for the impact. Jesse should not be lying in the truck's path, of course. The Saint fumes and hates, totally unafraid. Interior Tulip's pickup truck night.
Yeah, your mom's a hooner.
Exterior Anvil Main Street night. Massive impact. Huge crunch as the pickup plows into the Saint of Killers, stops dead as it hits him, and Cassidy is flung through the windscreen and past the Saint in a spray of flying glass. He sails through the air. A moment's silence. Tulip's gaze follows the arc of his fall. He crashes to the ground in a horribly hard impact, plowing up the dirt. yells in agony, and then goes silent. Jesse turns painfully towards him. Cassidy raises his head, turns toward Jesse with a face full of broken glass, and smiles weakly.
You're rescued.
Jesse's eyes widen, then he slowly turns back to the Saint. Tulip turns to look that way too. The truck has rolled back a couple of feet, a wreck. Both wheels have come off of the front. The engine block and panels are bent up off the chassis. Anyway, the hood is gone. The windscreen is shattered. Steam hisses from the engine. A large, foot-deep dent is dug into the fender and grille. The engine itself is bent around the impact. The Saint stands unmoved, rock solid, staring at us with a pissed-off glare. The hood of the truck is embedded in his stomach. He takes a couple of deep breaths, yanks the hood from his guts, and flings it away. His face sets hard in a grimace of pure hatred.
Right.
He starts to draw his pistol. Jesse's hand whips past the Saint's coat from behind, drawing the second pistol. The Saint turns, furious and amazed, and freezes. The battered Jesse stands glaring at him, presses the second pistol into the Saint's throat, pushes his head back. The Saint has drawn the first gun, but it's obvious he'll never bring it up in time. He can't believe this is happening, furious at Jesse and himself.
You drew first.
Pissed off, battered, but full of savage triumph, Jesse cocks the pistol with a loud click. The Saint's eyes widen, furious.
I didn't say a goddamn word.
He fires and blows the Saint's brains clean out through the top of his head. The Saint staggers back. Jesse watches, eyes narrowed, grits. The Saint glares back, top of his head gone. We can see through the empty eye socket and out the back of his head. He's as grim and mean as ever.
The hell with you.
Then he drops to his knees and falls dead at Jesse's feet. Jesse turns away, drops the pistol, starts walking towards us. Tulip grabs him and the two embrace, holding each other as tight as they can for a long moment. They kiss. Eventually, Tulip breaks it, stares up at him in amazement. Jesse grins back.
You're crazy. You're totally fucking crazy. He could have ripped you in half.
Well, for a couple of times, I gotta admit, maybe he had me a little worried.
Come here.
They kiss again against the blazing inferno that used to be Anvil. Cassidy is trying to get up, but is so weak he is only managed to get as far as his hands and knees. He struggles, but seems beaten. Then he realizes that someone is holding a hand out to him. It's Jesse. He stands with his hand out serious. Tulip stands behind him, watching Cassidy warily. Cassidy looks at the hand, not sure what to make of it. Then he tentatively takes the hand, and Jesse pulls him to his feet. He stands, rather unsteady. Jesse glances over at Cassidy's hideous wounds. The two men face each other.
What I said to you was wrong back at the bar. I was wrong. I apologize.
Jesse, I'm the one that should be apologizing. I sold you out. I nearly got you killed.
You set things right.
Cassidy is quietly stunned. Then he reaches out his hand. Jesse takes it, and they shake. Tulip is leaning on Jesse's shoulder.
I still think you're a prick.
They both turn to her.
And a nice prick.
They both grin. All three turn to survey the destruction. Anvil is on fire from one end to the other. Come on, dumpster fire. And the street is littered with dead cops.
Jesus, quite a party, eh?
What a party.
At least you got that bastard.
The Saint's body lies in the street. Jesse's eyes narrow.
No.
Tulip is curious.
No, I didn't.
They're both curious as Jesse thinks to himself.
It wasn't him that caused this. He was just a goddamn errand boy.
What are you talking about?
He said it was the ones who sent him, remember? He said, if you want answers, ask the angels.
He turns and yells angrily into the night sky.
You bunch of assholes, you get your asses down here now. You got a lot of shit to answer for.
Tulip and Cassidy look at each other bewildered.
It was you who did this to me. You let that murdering son of a bitch loose to hunt me down. You're the ones caused this fucking slaughter. You know what I can do with this goddamn power I got. You motherfuckers start talking to me now, or you won't believe the shit I'll do next.
Sudden silence. The flames die away. Then the whole place is bathed in an incredible, otherworldly white light. Tulip and Cassidy cover their eyes, but Jesse stares right into the light. A huge figure forms above the town, a beautiful angel that glows with golden light, wings spread wide. It spreads out his arms, raises its face to the sky. Tulip and Cassidy are freaked. Jesse just looks suspicious. Then behold, O mortals, the glory of the heavenly host. Jesse's not remotely impressed. He lights a cigarette, flips the Zippo shut, and looks up again.
Cut the shit.
The radiance fades. The angel figure disappears. Standing in front of Jesse is a slim-figured guy in a white suit, a real-life angel. He looks a bit uncomfortable, like a PR guy who hasn't done his homework. I really actually wish I got my Buffy pillow to put Angel right in front of my face right now. I didn't. But anyway, Tulip and Cassie are totally freaking. Jesse sneers a bit.
What the fuck are you supposed to be?
I'm an angel of the Lord.
Then you got a lot of explaining to do. Might as well get started. And don't you leave out a fucking word. Now, what the hell is it that's happened to me?
It's something that never should have existed. It was born when an angel, a brother of mine, fell in love with a demon bitch from hell.
Yeah, I saw that part.
Yeah, well, nothing like it has ever happened before. There's a war raging in the realms beyond your world. One side, heaven, the other, hell.
Which ain't necessarily the same as good and evil, right?
That war must never end. Angels and demons should never meet in anything but battle, and yet it's happened anyway. We caught the lovers not long after the birth, and we had the Saint of Killers gun them down, but their offspring proved quite indestructible. He keeps talking, face now melted into a shot of the rolling silver clouds of heaven as seen in Jesse's mirror vision. We shut it away in a corner of heaven. It was neither good nor evil. It was something new, a combination of them both. We called it Genesis. Now he's melted. Sure, melt. Into a series of previous scenes, Genesis ripping through Earth's atmosphere, hitting the Anvil Church, possessing Jesse, destroying the congregation. It had no intelligence beyond a basic sentience. It escaped from heaven, seeking a host. Someone who could act on its behalf, who could use its power for someone who could speak for it. He looks pointedly at Jesse, who's deep in thought.
What does it want?
It does not want. It is what happens when good meets evil. It is an idea. It is a power for you to decide what to do with.
And why me exactly?
That? I don't know. Had you done anything that might attract it? Jesse thinks about it. Interior Anvil Church day. Flashback to Jesse screaming at his congregation.
Give me a sign. Give me incontrovertible proof that the Almighty ain't got his head shoved firmly up his ass.
Exterior Anvil Main Street night. Jesse considered.
Might have done.
It needed a home, that was all. But now, listen to me and understand. We cannot let a power as strong as this run loose on Earth. We must return this entity to heaven and lock it in the dark forever. Submit to us. Let us sever its bond with your soul, and you may go in peace.
The fuck I will.
You don't know what you're saying. I can promise you that you'll go free. I give you my word.
Your word ain't worth dog shit on a hot afternoon. You sent the Saint of Killers on me, and now he's fucked up. You think I'm just going to give myself up like nothing happened? Fuck you. No, I think there's more to this than you ain't saying. Like, how come God allowed this to happen? Thing being born that never should have. How come he didn't stop it himself?
Oh, no. Please don't make me tell. I'll be destroyed for this. In Jesus' name, have mercy.
Every last word.
The Lord God is gone. Jesse, Tulip, and Cassidy freezes. A moment passes.
Ain't quite the answer I expected. The fuck you mean he's gone?
I mean, he quit. When Genesis was born, he left his throne in heaven. He said he would go and live among the mortals here on Earth.
How can God quit? How can the world keep going?
I don't know. I haven't noticed that much difference. Maybe we just don't need the fucker.
Jesse thinks about that, turns back to the shaky-looking angel, shrewdly raises his eye. Well? Humanity was not supposed to know.
Well, they're gonna find out pretty fucking quickly, believe me. I want to see to it.
But how will you tell them? Why should his flock believe that he has deserted them? Why should the atheists believe he's gone when they never believed he was there in the first place? How do you convince people that you're telling the truth? Remember the good folk of Anvil, Reverend Custer? Jesse's stumped for a minute, then his eyes narrow again and a nasty smile appears on his face.
Why would he leave just when Genesis was born?
What?
Unless he was scared of it.
Now?
It's as strong as he is, ain't it? Or maybe stronger. You said it yourself, it was something new. It gave me the power to be obeyed. If I found the Lord Almighty, I could make him face the people of the world and own up to running out on him, right?
No, you can't. Think about what you're saying. You can't give orders to God. You haven't got the right.
I haven't got the what?
Sudden silence. Jesse glares at the angel with steadily mounting anger.
I haven't got the right? Fuck you. I gave my life to God just like my daddy did before me. We never quit on him. We stuck by him and his holy Bible through thick and thin, no matter how shitty a hand we got dealt. And now you're telling me I ain't got the right to face him down and ask what the fuck he thinks he's doing. Seems to me, asshole, that I got all the right in the goddamn world. Seems to me that every man and woman on this planet has the right to say, hey, Lord, you've been fucking with us from day one. You've been playing roulette with our fucking lives through 10,000 years of war, famine, death, and fucked up shit. So maybe you'd like to tell us when you're finished moving in mysterious fucking ways, what the fuck do you mean by fucking quitting on us?
Silence for a moment. Tulip and Cassidy are very wary, waiting for whatever comes next. Jesse fumes, red-faced. The angel is shitting himself. The creation cannot make demands of the creator.
Then the creator shouldn't shit on his creation. You want to know how I got the right to make demands of the Lord? It's because I got given the power of God. I know what it's like. But all I did with it was the right fucking thing.
But
I have had enough of you, ball sweat. You and your asshole pals in heaven, you're responsible for this whole fucking bloodbath. Well, I've been thinking, if there's a heaven, there has to be the other place as well, right?
yes.
Then you can go there.
The angel's eyes bulge in unbelievable horror. He opens his mouth to scream, then bursts into bright red, blazing flame. A terrible, unearthly scream echoes around the place so loud that our heroes have to clamp their hands to their ears. Then it fades into the distance, as if the screamer has fallen down a deep, deep hole until he's out of earshot. The angel is reduced to ash, scattered on the breeze. Jesse looks grimly at it, then turns away. Cassidy looks at him, impressed.
Nice bit of preaching, preacher.
Exterior Anvil night. The three of them walk towards the battered pickup Jesse and Tulip arrived in. Jesse and Cassidy move slowly, favoring their various wounds. No sign of Hugo root.
Not long till dawn. I really need to be getting me arse under cover.
Can't take the sun, huh?
I'm a fucking vampire turnip.
Tulip.
1 inch of tan and I'll go up like the bleeding 4th of July. You give us a lift down the road, eh?
Least I can do, partner.
They get into the truck. Interior stolen pickup night. Jesse's at the wheel, Tulip's in the middle. Jesse starts the engine.
You really going looking for God?
We close up on Jesse, who looks grim and determined.
If it takes me a goddamn
That's
lot.
my line.
That's your line! Stop,
Sorry. My southernness, sorry.
I will if it takes me a goddamn lifetime, Cass.
Exterior Anvil night. The pickup drives off. And don't step on anybody else's line, Travis. Interior stolen pickup night.
Generally, if he says he's going to do something, he does it.
Just a matter of interest, Jesse. Is there anything that does scare you?
Jesse smiles.
Well, I ain't running into anything yet.
Suddenly, he freezes, stares, stamps on the brakes. Exterior desert road night. The pickup screeches to a halt, rocking back on its chassis. I swear I'm going to learn how to pronunciate that word correctly. Interior stolen pickup night. Tulip and Cassidy are flung back in their seats. Then they turn to gape at Jesse.
fuck was that?
But Jesse can only stare ahead, horrified. Exterior desert road night, illuminated in the headlights, still astride his BMX, is Arseface. He's looking curiously back at the truck. Our heroes peer out at him, freaked beyond belief. Then he pedals, awkwardly up to Jesse's side of the pickup truck and sticks his head in the window. Interior stolen pickup night. All three stare at Arseface, incredibly nervous. He's cheery as ever.
Hello!
Jesse recoils at the voice.
Sorry, look,
The three of them look at each other bewildered.
Today's Hugo, he is stares around these clouds. Tall fingers like on the sky. I've been looking for him all month.
The fuck is he saying?
Well, what the fuck are you asking me for?
Cassidy puts a hand to his mouth to hide his laughter. That gets Tulip going. She leans back to try and hide behind Jesse, struggling not to howl with laughter. When Jesse turns back to Arseface, he can barely contain himself, teeth gritted, coughing over the occasional snigger.
Come again?
That almost puts Tulip and Cassidy over the edge, a Herculean effort to stop themselves from laughing. Arseface is oblivious.
I'm only for my dad to see it. He's really young, he looks like really spirit.
I'm sorry, buddy. I can't understand a goddamn word you said.
Arseface pulls a photo from his pocket, hands it in.
My dad, see? I'm looking for my dad. That's him. There, with me.
The photo shows Arseface and Hugo together, Arseface with an arm around his dad, giving the thumbs up. Hugo looks impossibly bitter, fuming with the hatred for the whole world.
See?
Jesse looks at the photo and all becomes clear.
Oh.
He hands the photo to Tulip and raises an eyebrow. I'm adding brow. Tulip and Cassidy stare at it, eyes popping. Exterior desert road night. Jesse leans out the window, hands the photo to Arseface, smiles reassuringly.
Got you now, buddy. Yeah, I know who your daddy is. I saw him tonight, as a matter of fact.
See?
I'm sure I did. He's lying back there with his dick up his ass.
Jesse floors it and the pickup races off down the road in a cloud of dust, leaving Arseface staring after it. Interior bar night. Cassidy back in the bar we met him in, right at the very start. Nothing has changed. He frowns as he picks a rather obvious pubic hair out of his beer. Then he snaps out of it and grins at us.
Told you, didn't I? Anything that could happen fucking well did happen. It's been a wee while now since I last saw Jesse and little Tulip. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days all that weird fucking shit started up again, and then maybe we'll run into each other again. I don't know whether or not I believe that God ran out on us. I didn't know if he really is loose, where somewhere in the world. But I'll tell you this, if Jesse Custer ever does get his hands on the good Lord, the bastard better have a fucking good excuse. Cheers.
And we fade to black. Amazing!
And that is Preacher. Thank you all very much for joining, and we'll catch you at the next one.